All right, we're reconnected here as we had a power failure on our end. So in the meantime, what has happened, Alex, if you want to run through it, as Zionsville is going to hike the ball here. They have 3rd and 1, and we'll tell you how they got the ball in just 1 second, as Steven Wisniewski is stuffed for actually a loss of 1 on the play. Alex, if you want to kind of help keep the viewers at home up to speed here.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically what had happened is Pike on the first play of their offensive series actually fumbled the ball and turned it over on downs. She turned it over to Zionsville. Zionsville got the ball, got a couple first downs, and now they are actually faced with a 4th and 2, and early indications show that they will, in fact, try to go for it here. So Zionsville is attempting to try to draw blood early here with a 4th down attempt. And as a key note, they have not yet thrown to their big play target in John Nomchef yet. But we will see what the play call here is.
Parker Dunshee motions Wisniewski into the backfield, so Zionsville will now be in the I formation. And Parker hands the ball off to Wisniewski as he pushes forward, and that'll be good for a first down. He was hit initially behind the first down marker, but with some help from his offensive line there, able to get the first down. And there's about 9.5 minutes left in the first quarter. The first 2 minutes of action we weren't able to bring, as we said, because of the power outage, but just like Alex had mentioned, first play of the game for Pike, there was a fumble in the backfield, recovered by Zionsville. I believe Carter Spear might have recovered that.
Too,
That's
yes.
number 5, the linebacker, and Zionsville with the ball and threatening here early on. And the handoff to Cole Went down to the 1-yard line. So Zionsville going to have a 2nd and goal from the 1 here. And Alex, how important is it going to be for the Eagles to strike first, especially after deferring, getting the ball back right away and being able to put it in the end zone to take the early lead?
It's going to be very big, and so far this game has gone exactly how Zionsville wanted it to. You know, they kick the ball off and expect their defense to get out there and make a stop. And first play of the offensive series for Pike is a fumble, and they get the ball back, and they're knocking on Pike's door, 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line.
I formation again for the Eagles. Cole Went is met in the backfield. And I'm trying to get a number from up here. That's number 9 for the Pike Red Devils. That's David Kinney, the defensive end. We were talking about him before the game. He actually recently committed to Indiana University to play football for the Hoosiers next year, and formerly was committed to the Iowa Hawkeyes. But he's got a list of offers from all over the country, Alex. And I know on the ride over, we were both pretty thrilled to get a chance to watch him here tonight.
Yeah, he's a big kid, and he's extremely strong. He'll fight off pretty much any block, and Zionsville's got a tough task here. I will say that Pike is coming out showing man coverage immediately, so we'll see what they do here.
And a fade to the back of the end zone. That was thrown to John Nomchef, but overthrown.
Barely. He got a hand on it. It was a pretty good throw. He basically threw it where only the receiver could get it. It was just a little bit outside for Nomchef, and he wasn't able to make the catch. Had he made that catch, that would have been an incredible catch on that play.
Well, speaking of incredible catches, he certainly made one. Well, made a few last week against Brownsburg, helping the Eagles, the visiting Eagles, I should say, get a win on the road to open up the state playoffs. And now the field goal is attempted by Jack Grider, number 95. So maybe at least for the short field goals, I don't think we're going to see Parker Dunshee kick them right away. But Zionsville gets the ball back right away and takes a 3-0 lead here in this first quarter. And Zionsville was one of a few upsets in the state playoffs last weekend. Warren Central over Carmel was a big upset in many people's eyes. And, of course, right across the sideline here, the Pike Red Devils over Ben Davis, as you mentioned earlier.
And so many times that happens, a team who they've already played earlier in the season, such as Carmel and Warren and Pike and Ben Davis, Zionsville, Brownsburg. You play that team the first time. I think all 3 teams who won the first round of sectionals lost to that team that they beat the week before. So, it's hard to play a team twice in high school football because you show so much of what you can do in the first game. As Brownsburg basically ran the ball against Zionsville in the first game and won in that Mud Bowl 14-0. Ben Davis beat Pike 24-0 to start that game beginning of the season. So, it's really crazy how high school football works. But the beneficiaries of that was Zionsville and Pike, and I think right there you just saw a moral victory by Pike as they turned the ball over to start the game and were able to hold Zionsville with only 3 points.
Bouncing kickoff taken quickly by the 10-yard line by Pike, and there's a seam as number 3 for the Red Devils is out in the open, And Zionsville defenders finally bring him down, but not after a huge return as he gets over 60 yards on the return. That was Tyler Sanders for the Red Devils. He's listed as a defensive back here for Pike, and now that we have time with all the technical difficulties we've had and then the quick change of possession, maybe we can get some of the starting lineups out to you.
Yeah, left tackle for Pike's offense, Jason McBride. Left guard, Jalen Martindale. Center, Jalen Allen. Right guard, Antonio Saunders. Right tackle, James McBride. At receivers, Devin Pearson, Tyrese Board. Dominique Booth. Quarterback, Brent Lyles, who we talked about. And then they do a 2 running back system with Derek Wilkerson and Taylor Sanders.
And this time, Lyles will work out of the shotgun and hand the ball off as it's gobbled up by the Zionsville defensive line. First on the action there was the number 84 for Zionsville, and that's Daniel McCullough. And we've seen Daniel McCullough, the big defensive end for Zionsville, really make a lot of strides this year. 6'7", 215, and he's improved every game I think we've covered.
He sure has, and against a tall quarterback, he's a good asset to have to get those arms up and try to block a ball.
As he just then is a perfect segue into what you were saying. He got his arms up there, didn't tip the pass, but a lot of them are just affected as the quarterback feels like he has to put a little more air under the ball.
Absolutely. You have to adjust how you throw it. You don't want to throw over a defender, so you kind of sidearm it a little bit, and oftentimes you'll mislead a receiver. It could result in an interception or right there an incomplete pass.
So the big return by the Red Devils puts him inside the Zionsville 30, but it's 3rd and 10 now as they couldn't gain anything on the first 2 plays. Lyles in the shotgun here. Fakes the handoff, a quick pass, and he is brought down hard by the cornerback for Zionsville there, Joshua Woodard. And he did hang on to the ball, which is actually going to result in about a 4 or 5 yard loss for Pike here. And they're going to be faced with an early decision as they're kind of in no man's land as far as kicking a field goal or punting. So they're going to go ahead and try and go for it.
Yeah, and in this situation, Zionsville wants to keep all the receivers in front of them and minimize damage and try to get pressure on this quarterback here.
14 yards to go as Lyles looks. He's got a man, but he can't come down with it. The pass, I'm trying to see who that was intended for. It looks like number 11, Devin Pearson, from here.
Yeah, that was a very catchable ball. Right there was a great demonstration of the arm strength of Brent Lyles. He stepped right up in the pocket and just threw a rocket right to the outside sideline. The only place the receiver was going to be able to get that and just slipped through the fingers of the receiver. So a good job by Zionsville to force a 3 and out, and actually 4 and out, and will maintain the ball on their own 30-yard line.
Especially after that big return. I thought after that big return, Zionsville's defense might be in a little trouble, but first 2 possessions force a turnover on downs, and the first possession obviously was the fumble recovered by Zionsville. 3-step drop for Parker Dunshee. He's got a man open. That's Chris Mason. Really makes a fantastic catch, Alex, as that ball was close to being intercepted, but Parker snuck it in a small window. Good for a 20-yard gain out to midfield for the Eagles.
Man, oh man, oh man. I thought that was going to be a pick 6 right there. That ball just barely got through and by the defender right there, and a good adjustment by Chris Mason to reach back and catch that ball and get some yards after the catch. That was a very, very dangerous play, and but nevertheless worked out for Zionsville here, and I'm still seeing Pike's coming out on their defense in a press coverage with 2 safeties over the top, and that could be a dangerous little defensive formation for them.
Heck of a catch by Chris Mason. The handoff now to Cole Went. He breaks through for a nice gain. They're going to call him down after a gain of 8 yards. While we have a moment, I'll get to the Zionsville starting offense, as you've heard them introduced many times this year. Zane Breach and Jacob Avon are the tackles on the offensive line. Eric Whiteholder and Austin Brewer are the guards. Thomas Mattingly is the center. Parker Dunshee, the quarterback behind Mattingly. Steven Wisniewski, the fullback. Cole Went, the tailback. The receivers you're going to see tonight, you're going to see a lot of Chris Mason and a whole lot of John Nomchef, but then Avery Boxall, as we've seen come up time and time again in big situations. And Carson Kennedy tonight will be the tight end. Parker Dunshee sprints out to his left, and the ball is fired low, but a nice adjustment and catch there by Nomchef will take the ball down to the Pike 30, and Zionsville will have another first down. Heck of a catch there, Alex, by John.
Yeah, John just really sat down in the middle of that zone and was able to scoop the ball off the ground, and very nice catch, and Zionsville showing some good things. They're doing some shotgun. We saw a veer option on that 4th down back there. So they're really trying to change it up a little bit and keep this defense off their toes. I think against a defense and a 3-4 as Pike runs is going to benefit Zionsville because they like to run in between the tackles, and it's going to take a couple yards before the linebackers can get up and make that tackle.
Parker Dunshee under center this time. The single back is Cole Went. A longer drop as the ball is aired out, and he's got John Nomchef wide open for a touchdown.
Wow.
John Nomchef's first touchdown of the night comes from 30 yards out, and Zionsville up 2 possessions now as, pitting the extra point. They're going to go up 10-0 here in the first quarter, and a great start for the Eagles, Alex.
And that's exactly what I was just alluding to earlier, is that they are in this press man coverage with a safety over the top, but if the safety takes a step up and misreads the play, that's easy pickings for Nomchef and Parker Dunshee. They've done it all year. Those long bombs, you just can't leave him open on the outside.
And the extra point is good, so Zionsville with a 10-0 lead and a nice fast start for the Eagles, and that's exactly what the coaches wanted, Alex. And Pike obviously is not feeling desperate quite yet. I mean, down 10-0, came back to beat Ben Davis, and actually put a pretty good beating on Ben Davis last week.
Yeah, they really did. They controlled the ball and controlled the clock and were able to make big plays against what I thought was honestly one of the better defenses in the state. But they were able to do and impose their will the way they wanted to. And so far, Zionsville's done a good job on defense, forcing a turnover, and then a fourth down conversion was failed by Pike. So Zionsville's taking control of the opportunities when they get these turnovers and are leading 10-0.
I'd like to see Zionsville tonight really put their foot on the gas and not put it on the brake as they gain a lead. We've seen them cough up leads late, almost to Brownsburg last week, which would have resulted in the end of their season. And then against Avon, they let them come back in the second half. So although it's early, it'd be nice to see Zionsville really keep their foot on the gas and really put the pressure on Pike throughout the entirety of the game.
And there's no really reason why they wouldn't in a situation like this because it is sectional. So, it's the last game potentially for either of these teams. So there's no reason to take your foot off the gas and we'll see how it goes.
And the kick coverage a lot better this time for Zionsville as Pike just manages to get the ball out to the 20-yard line. And now we'll introduce to you the starting defense for the Eagles. Daniel McCullough, the defensive end, as we mentioned, with Jake Romanek, the other end. Connor Dahl and Noah Rogers are inside on the defensive line. Scott Panola, Jimmy Morrison, and Carter Spear, the linebackers. The cornerbacks tonight, Joshua Woodard and Tyler Glenn. And the safeties, Jackson Schaefer and Ben Kocher. We'll also see a little bit of Ryan Connor at safety as well. And the handoff this time from the Pike Red Devils right up the middle, good for about 5 yards. And I believe that was Derek Wilkerson, Alex, but I wasn't able to make out. Was that 22 or 21?
It was 22, Derek Wilkerson. And he's a big kid. He's more of like a fullback type player, 5'9", 190 pounds. So he's a big fella, and I think Pike really wants to establish the run a little bit on these first downs to get them in a manageable second down.
Those are the first yards gain of the night from Pike on offense. 4 minutes left to go in the first quarter. The Red Devils trail Zionsville 10-0. And this time the ball is kept and then pitched by Lyles. And that's good for a 7-yard gain and a Pike first down. The pitch that time went to number 21, Taylor Sanders, the tailback.
And I like that play call right there on Pike on 2nd and 5. They do run a spread offense, but they go with 2 backs right next to the quarterback and just kind of ran a misdirection read option to the right side, and the quarterback made a good decision in pulling the ball and then pitching it when he needed to.
And the handoff this time for Pike right up the middle. The tackle is made by number 15 for Zionsville. That was Ben Kocher, the safety. But a gain of 7 for Pike as they're starting to move the ball a little bit here on this third drive for the Pike offense. Handoff this time again up the middle. Good for a first down carry and a gain of about 4 or 5 yards.
And this Pike Red Devils offensive line is certainly the biggest offensive line that Zionsville has seen all year. They're averaging right around 265, 270, maybe a little bit even more than that. And they've had success all year running these little misdirections out of the shotgun formation.
Zionsville showing blitz with Carter Spear up. Now he drops back into coverage. And coming on a blitz, but Pike runs it around the left-hand side, close to the home sideline here, and gets a gain of 3 on first down. And Alex, what I'm starting to really pick up is just how fast this offense works for Pike. For a stretch there, they ran a few plays within a matter of a minute.
Yeah, they like to do a no huddle and just get out there and call a play from the sideline. Fumble
on the ground. This time picked up by Scott Pinola. And he's advancing the ball forward for a few yards. And I wasn't able to tell who forced that fumble. Might have been Josh Woodard coming up.
I actually don't think it was a forced fumble. I think it was just a mishandoff by the quarterback and the running back, and that's the second time that's really happened tonight. That's how the first fumble occurred, and these Pike coaches have to be very disappointed in not being able to take care of the ball. As any backbone breaker in high school football is turnovers, and Zionsville's capitalized on 2 of them already, and they're already in Pike's territory. So we'll see, what kind of possession they're going to have here.
And Zionsville's kind of become excellent ball hawkers as the season's gone along. You've seen them force a lot more fumbles and a lot more turnovers this year than in years past. At least I think so.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of those are hustle plays, getting to the ball with everyone, and one guy stands the man up and is able to make that play.
And this carry for Cole Went, good for about 4. Actually had a nice cutback there, but wasn't able to see it in time. Still a gain of actually about 3 yards on the play for the Eagles. Ball is placed at the Pike 40-yard line, just outside of their 40-yard line. There's 2:17 remaining in the first quarter. Zionsville leads 10-0.
And this has been a pretty quick quarter. Obviously there's been 2 turnovers and a turnover on downs, but Pike, as they run their hurry-up offense, like to run the ball and keep that clock moving.
5-step drop. Parker, and had a man open, and Cole Went, the tailback in the flats, and Cole couldn't hang on to the ball. Had a lot of running room ahead of him, Alex.
Sure did, and he also had a receiver out there lead blocking for him. Looks like it was Namchef, and it was basically going to be one-on-one against one of the safeties coming up to make a play, but wasn't able to hold on to that ball, and Zionsville's facing their first 3rd and long.
3rd and 7 yards to go for the Eagles. And we still haven't read the Pike defensive starters tonight. We did talk about David Kinney a little bit, the defensive end, but we'll try to get to those here in a minute. Shotgun this time for the Eagles. Parker Dunshee takes the snap, sprints to his left, looking downfield, and had a guy in Avery Boxell open, but the ball was underthrown and picked off by Pike. In actuality, Alex, if you're going to throw an interception, that's the time and place you want to do it. It works out almost like a punt down to the 15-yard line. So, had they not have gotten the first down, who's to say the punt would really even make it much further than that?
Yeah, he sure did. A very nice job there. I didn't see who made that interception, but he did a good job of backing up and undercutting that route. It looked like it was a corner route, and he was able to get back there and make a solid interception. So Zionsville, with their first turnover of the night, they still lead 10-0 with 1:51 left in the first quarter, but Pike takes over on their own 15.
That was the free safety, number 7, Robert Williams, for Pike on that interception. Pike hands the ball off now and some running room, and that's a very nice run made there by Taylor Sanders, good for a gain of 15 yards out to the Zionsville 30.
And Pike's hurrying up the plays right here. They really like this no-huddle offense, and, the chain gang of Zionsville is having to really run. They're going to get an exercise tonight, I think.
Yeah, Zionsville's seen no-huddle offenses this year, but none that move quite this fast, I don't think. And this handoff again to Sanders, and this time he's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Ball came out, but they're going to call him down, as Ben Kocher would have liked to have picked that up and ran with it.
Certainly.
Referees call the play dead right at the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd and long now for Pike.
Yeah, and as you were talking about, we have seen no-huddle offenses like this, but usually they'll just line up and get a play call and then adjust what they want to do with their lineup. But Pike's just kind of full steam ahead here and going after it.
And play action now as Lyles has a man open, and a nice hit there, separating the receiver from the ball by number 41, Jackson Schaefer. The pass was intended for number 12 for Pike. That's Jordan Marshall. And an excellent play there by Schaefer. A big hit. Got a nice ovation here from the Zionsville sideline. I'll bring up 3rd and 10 for the Red Devils.
Yeah, and that pass was just thrown a little bit late by Lyles there. He should have thrown it a little bit earlier. Probably had a man and would have resulted in a first down, but very nice play by Jackson Schaefer.
And a blitz shown by Morrison. Now he'll back off. Flag is thrown as Brent Lyle scrambles, and he finds about 4 or 5 yards.
And I think the foul is going to be a legal procedure. I think the receiver kind of went off a little bit early. I don't know why they didn't call the play dead, but we'll see what the call is, and most likely Zionsville will defer it if it was, in fact, a legal procedure.
Yeah, there wasn't a first down gained on the play. They're going to pick up the flag, yeah.
I'm not sure why. And usually when there is some kind of a legal procedure, the play is blown dead, but for some reason the ref wanted to throw the flag and then pick it back up. So far, I was about to say right before that play happened, is that we have not seen a penalty tonight yet, and that would have been the first one, but we're still penalty-less.
Oh, and the snap is high, still trying to get the punt off, and it's going to be short and out of bounds. And the hit there provided by number 40 for the Eagles as the punt snap was bobbled. Noah Rogers actually put a hit on the punter as he tried to get it away at the last second. A short punt and great field position now, Alex, for the Eagles.
Yeah, it sure is. Zionsville has really gotten some fortunate bounces and fumbles and right there on that punt. It seems like every week we broadcast a game, there's some error on special teams, whether it's a long kickoff return, as we've seen earlier tonight, or a lot of times it's between the punter and the long snapper or on a field goal. It's not uncommon to see that.
Yeah, 41 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Zionsville with the ball in Pike territory, and the handoff will be given to Cole Wendt as he gets about 4 yards on the carry, and that may wind us down depending on how fast they set the ball. I don't know if Zionsville will be too eager to get off another play before the end of the quarter. They'll be able to run this down if they like.
We'll see. It looks like they have the wind at their back right now, so it might be wise to get out there and make another play call, but it seems like they're going to let it go down, and that should be the end of the first quarter. Zionsville is leading 10-0, and they are driving into Pike's territory.
Yeah, Pike in the first quarter has looked pretty sloppy. 2 lost fumbles, and then a botched punt, which wound up going only for about 15, 20 yards and giving Zionsville excellent field position once again. And we kind of talked about that and touched on that on the way over, on the ride over here to the stadium, about just, Zionsville needing to execute tonight and just be solid. Of course, they've had the 1 turnover, but that came in about the most ideal predicament you could ever want to throw an interception in. So I don't think anyone was too worried about that one, but we talked about let Pike beat themselves. They have a tendency to turn the ball over. Played a very sharp game last week, but I thought that Zionsville's best bet tonight was just to take care of, I guess, for Zionsville to be Zionsville and worry about themselves.
Absolutely. Zionsville is historically and under Coach McWhorter has always been a fundamentally sound football squad, and they really coach for a military-style team effort, and that's exactly what they've done this year. They've finished a few games out very strongly, but for the most part, they just do a very good job of getting their assignments and playing smart football.
Motion man this time for the Eagles is Steven Wisniewski, the fullback, as Parker gets it away quick, and Carson Kennedy isn't able to hang on to it as the pass was thrown towards the Pike sideline. It'll be 3rd and 6 for the Eagles in Pike territory.
And it's a good thing he threw his first read right there, because David Kinney really put a hit on him, and if he would have held that ball for just a half second longer, could have been a potential fumble there.
And trips here to the right for the Eagles. Parker looks to that side, fires quickly, and again takes Avery Boxell, kind of makes him come back out of his route a little bit, and it was really the same throw he just made. And we just got word up here in the press box that Avon is down 10-0 to Terre Haute North. So the winner of this game will play the winner of Avon Terre Haute North. We'll try to keep you updated on that score as we progress through the night. Zionsville sends their punt team out on the field as they are unable to convert a first down here. Parker Dunshee takes a low snap, but steps into it and gets a nice punt away.
Very nice punt.
And it'll take a bounce, and he just can't hang on to it. And is that 81, Alex?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, that's number 81, Hayden Clark there for the Eagles. That was a perfect punt by Parker, and the coverage unit just wasn't able to keep it in bounds as it goes into the end zone for a touchback.
So, yeah, and a good job by Pike right there. We're able to, after a botched punt, we're able to hold Zionsville to a 3-and-out, and we're starting to sense this game could slow down as far as scoring, as we're early in the second quarter here. But Pike's taking over on their own 20, and we'll see what they're able to do here against Zionsville.
Pike comes out with 4 wide receivers out of the shotgun as Lyles hands the ball off, and I believe that's Sanders again breaking through tacklers and actually winds up getting a first down on the carry. A very nice carry towards the Pike sideline there. If you're watching at home, hopefully you'll be able to follow us, as I'll probably reference pretty often the Pike sideline or the Zionsville sideline. The Zionsville sideline is the one towards the bottom of your screen, closest to you from our vantage point here in the press box. And the ball is about to be snapped again to the Red Devils, but I believe they're going to get Zionsville for a neutral zone infraction.
Yeah, they sure did. That was a very good hard count by Brent Lyles right there. And, Pike's running back crew right here, 5'9", 190 pounds in Derek Williams, and 5'10", 195 pounds with Taylor Sanders. That's a big-sized kid for a running back, and they obviously have speed as they're able to bounce to the outside, as we've seen early in this game. So, they've got that big play possibility that Zionsville needs to look out for.
And the handoff again to Sanders as he's just getting chunks of yardage right now. And that's good for at least 15, somewhere between 15 20 yards. It'll put Pike into Zionsville territory as the ball is going to be placed right at the 45-yard line, 46-yard line of Zionsville.
And, I really expected the Pike to come in here and really try to air this out. They run a spread offense, but they seem content to really work up against this front line of Zionsville's defense.
Carter Spear showing blitz right now as Lyles looks to the Pike sideline to try to get another play call. Ball is snapped, and Lyles looks to throw, batted down nicely. Very good play there by number 42 for the Eagles. That's Connor Dahl, and we spoke with one of the defensive line coaches, Danny Goff, and he mentioned that Connor Dahl has really made a lot of progress and really had a good few weeks of practice. And a handoff again for the Red Devils, and just absolutely busting through defenders is Sanders again, Alex. And what do you think so far about this running back, Taylor Sanders, here for the Red Devils?
He's a beast. 195 pounds, 5'10". He's able to run through arm tackles, and, Zionsville normally is more of a technically sound tackling team. They don't like to arm tackle, like to break down and make a good pop with a wrap up, and they just haven't really been able to do it against these big, strong running backs of Pike. And I think the frustration is starting to come out a little bit on the coaching staff as they call a timeout. Zionsville burns their first time out of the half, and it's a 10-0 game. Early scores by Zionsville off turnovers, but this Pike team is a very good team, and despite the turnovers, they could easily get back in this game with a touchdown.
Yeah, they're despite the 2 fumbles and then the poor punt, only being down 10-0 and in the opponent's territory isn't so bad. I think that was a well-timed timeout there for the Eagles as they were kind of getting run ragged down the field.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing for tonight for Zionsville is really knowing when to call a timeout to slow this fast offense down. They do not stop, and they're constantly at the line of scrimmage ready to snap the ball, and you have to be intelligent as a coach to know when to burn these timeouts.
We're about to get this first down play with 11 minutes left to go in the first half. Lyles once again checks to the sideline, and now he'll shift his running back to his left side. That's number 22, Derek Wilkerson. And Wilkerson will get the carry and brought down. A big hit there. I wasn't able to make sure who it was. I think it might have been Morrison, number 45.
Yeah, it sure was. I think they're starting to realize that they have to take these outside linebackers and come around the edge really hard and crash down on these running backs. Otherwise they're going to get a lot of yards up the middle because this line of Pike is good and they're big.
Well, they're handing the ball off 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage initially, and there another big hit. That's a couple guys. That's Connor Dahl in on the play, and I believe Scott Pinola was close as well.
Yeah, and that's just a situation where Zionsville thinking that Pike is becoming predictable in how they call these run plays, and right there pretty much brought all the linebackers up in there and crowded it, and I think now is the time where they have to back up and play a good secondary game.
3rd and 10 now for the Red Devils as the safety, Jackson Schaefer, shows blitz, and now he'll backpedal. And Lyles looks and throws deep, but he overthrows everyone. I think there was some miscommunication there between him and his receiver. I believe the pass was supposed to be intended for Devin Pearson. That's the junior wide receiver, but...
And let me tell you, the reason why that happened right there is the corner for Zionsville, number 25. He did a fantastic job of jamming the receiver when he tried to make... It was basically a pump and go. And as soon as he pumped it, the corner was just jamming him right there against the line of scrimmage, and it was just overthrown. So very good job by the defensive secondary, and Zionsville's forcing Pike to punt.
Yes, Pike will have to punt again, so they're still scoreless. And the punt is up in the air, and it's going to bounce into the end zone. But I thought it might have had a chance of dying there within the 5-yard line, but it goes through the back of the end zone, and Zionsville's offense will take over at the 20. And one thing I noticed there on that snap, and I believe it was the same last time, it was very slow getting back there to the punter. So might want to watch out for that later on this evening, as Zionsville has had, as Alex mentioned, a couple chances so far this year to get a hand on the ball and block a punt. And with the ball getting back there so slowly, they may have a better chance tonight than others.
Absolutely, and right there, I think there was a big sigh of relief from the Zionsville fans here, because the punt blocker went down on the ground and the punter fell over him, and the ref reached for his flag but didn't throw it, thankfully.
And right now, John Nomchef moves in motion, and it's an option play as the pitch is to Cole Went, and he's got some running room. Oh, hit hard on the sideline by number 26 for the Red Devils. A nice hit by Eric Dobbins, but not after Zionsville gets about a 13-yard gain on the option there, and nice job by Cole Went, maybe wishing he would have just stepped out of bounds there at the end of the play.
Well, and it was also one of those hits where the running back was trying to put the brakes on and slipped a little bit, his heels underneath him, so any kind of hit's going to just throw you straight on your back. But a very good job on there, and a nice option play right there. Parker Dunshee did a good job shaking the linebacker and pitched it exactly when he needed to.
So Eric Dobbins, the corner for Pike, comes up with a big hit on the sideline, and now we'll have a flag thrown before the play gets started. This will be on Zionsville. I believe this will move them back 5 yards. Yeah, it's a false start, so Zionsville's going to have 1st and 15 now, and it'll be from their own 27, 26-yard line thereabouts.
And it looked like Steven Wisniewski just got a little antsy there on the play, and it looked like it was going to be a play-action fake and a boot right there, but they weren't able to do it. Now they're in 1st and 15. And I believe that's the first penalty of the night. Well, no, Zionsville had an offsides on defense, so it's the second, but both on Zionsville.
Yeah, Pike has yet to have a penalty tonight, but the 2 turnovers have hurt them early on. Zionsville still leads 10-0. Parker Dunshee will hand the ball off to Cole Went as he hits the hole and almost breaks an arm tackle, and that was another nice tackle there by Eric Dobbins, the cornerback. But a great gain there, really, on 1st down by Cole Went, getting a big chunk of yardage back, including the penalty yards. So it'll be 2nd and about 6 for the Eagles now.
I think that was about the perfect opportunity for Zionsville to run that counter play right there, as they were really heavily overloading the strong side on defense, and the offensive line was able to open up a huge hole for Cole Went right there.
Zionsville facing a 2nd and 6, balls at their own 36-yard line. Parker Dunshee under center, another option play. This time Parker's going to keep it and runs out of bounds, and I believe the way they're marking it right now, he's going to have a 1st down by about a yard, Alex, and a nice play there and a nice call. That option play really worked out well for Zionsville last week in the second half. Moved the ball for Zionsville on that crucial last drive. I think they went for it on 4th down like 3 or 4 times on the last drive last week, and a couple of those successful conversions were brought on by that option play.
That's a great play because Parker Dunshee's a good runner. They have a fullback in Wisniewski who's going to get straight up the field, and then obviously Cole Went's a good running back, so it's a good play that can work if you execute it well.
Handoff again to Cole Went, and this time he doesn't have as much room, but his offensive line again helps him. And I will say the offensive line has blocked well so far at the start of this game, and if they can wear down that Pike defense over the course of time, especially the man in the middle for Pike, that's Marcus Johnson. He's listed at 6'2", 305 pounds, so quite an anchor in the middle there for the Pike Red Devils defense. But if you can wear them down, and especially wear him down over the course of the game, should open up some running lanes later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think that the fatigue of both of these teams is going to play a huge factor tonight. Whoever's in better condition is going to have a huge edge here.
2nd and 7 for the Eagles as Parker takes it right up the middle. And I believe that was a fumbled snap, and he just picked it up and ran and wound up getting about 5 yards on the carry. So nice little makeshift play there for the Eagles and some improvisation for Parker Dunshee, and the ball moves forward.
Yeah, and thankful he was able to pick that ball up and just kind of took it right up the center and was able to get about 4 yards there. But this is a big third down. I think this is a point of the game with 7 minutes left in the first half. Zionsville's leading 10-0, where this third down is very big for both sides. You know, Zionsville can continue this drive. They can bring the clock down to really close to the halftime, and at the same time, Pike could get the ball back and could possibly score.
Handoff this time to Wisniewski up the middle, and he's going to be called down right at the sticks. So we might even see a measurement here, you think?
I think he got it. I don't think it was a very good spot, but I think he got it.
I thought it was a very poor spot. From up here, it looks like I would say from up here, he might be short.
Yeah, maybe.
They're gonna go ahead and call for a measurement, I believe.
They're not just gonna call it fourth down. Yeah. They are short. That was a very bad spot. Wisniewski dove and really reached out with the ball, and I just didn't expect it to be that short. So, nevertheless, though, good job by Pike to force that fourth down, and Zionsville's gonna punt the ball.
Yeah, from up here, he looks like he's short by about a foot, and Parker Dunshee's gonna boot it away, and it's gonna bounce. Oh, almost hits a Pike. I think I'm trying to make out the number, but there was a Pike player down around that ball when it bounced up. That might have been 26 Eric Dobbins, the corner. We mentioned his name a few times on that drive. But the Rev Devils will get the ball back halfway through the second quarter. Zionsville still leads 10-0.
And it'll be interesting to see how Pike goes out the rest of this half. And their play calling tonight has been very mixed, probably more to the run because it's been successful so far against this Zionsville front. And their offensive line is doing a great job opening up those holes for those big running backs. And it looks like they're going to come out in an empty set.
Yeah, it is empty. Just Lyles, the quarterback, in the backfield. And he's going to run with it and gets really nowhere as Zionsville tries to push him back. Connor Dahl, number 42, is in on the play, and he's had a heck of a half thus far, Alex.
Yeah, he sure has. He's made a couple big plays to prevent potential bigger plays, and he's done a good job. And you know, Zionsville defensive line, they're really hanging in there tough. I think they're a little bit more undersized in this offensive line, but with speed and technique, they've been able to got past this first line.
And Lyles takes the snap again out of the shotgun, and he's got a man this time, and it's complete to Devin Pearson for a first down and about a gain of 17. And Pearson's been the target of Lyles' passes a couple times tonight, but I believe that's his first catch, and is that the first complete pass?
I think so. I think that is in fact the first completion for Pike, and it was a very good job. Brent Lyles stood back there in the pocket and was able to find an open man.
Lyles hands off this time. No, it's pitched around the outside, and the fake got me up here in the box as the pitch actually went around by the Pike sideline. That was Taylor Sanders, and that's a big gain, Alex. Ball goes down to the Zionsville 37. And a really nice fake carried out there by Lyles in the Pike offense.
Yeah, it was very nice. It was pretty much a speed option, and the quarterback just pitched it really early because he saw open field for the running back and let him do the work there.
And fakes the pass. The ball is handed off up the middle. Good for about a 2-yard gain there for the Red Devils as Daniel McCullough was in the backfield to disrupt the play, but Josh Trewartha, the defensive tackle, comes up with the tackle at the end of the play.
Yeah, very nice job. Looks like they ran a little draw play there trying to catch Zionsville's defense off guard, but good job staying in there and making that tackle.
And this time it's another handoff up the middle by Lyles made to, this was Wilkerson, I believe. Yeah, 22, Wilkerson got the handoff, gain of a yard. Pike staring at 3rd and 8 now, desperately looking to get some points on the board before halftime. Both running backs in the backfield as Lyles has pressure and finds a man, but can't come up with a catch as he had to make an adjustment on his throw, and really was a poor throw. Tyrese Boyd was the intended receiver, couldn't come up with the catch. And Pike it's decision time here for the Red Devils. As I know they don't want to give Zionsville the ball back and then have to kick off to him again at halftime without getting some points on the board. And they're going for it on 4th and down. Lyles looking, can't find anyone open, is pressured and is thrown out of bounds as Brent Lyles tried to make something out of it there, but a nice job of staying at home by the Zionsville defense and playing their assignments the way they need to and containing Brent Lyles in the pocket there.
Absolutely, and that was a very nerve-wracking play as the quarterback was scrambling to the left, had a couple men open down the field, but because of the pressure on him, wasn't able to find those receivers. And Zionsville's really hung tough. Pike's gotten into their territory almost every single time, and every time they forced either a 4th down or a 3rd and long, enabling them to stop Pike and get the ball back. So a good job here, and I know Zionsville's going to want to score before halftime here, so we'll see what they can do.
Big opportunity here for the Eagles to score before half. They deferred to start the game, so they'll get the ball back to start the second half regardless of what happens here. And the pass is made, and was that caught or dropped? No, they're going to call it incomplete. It was intended for Chris Mason in some traffic. Thought he might have had a chance to come down with it, but it was bobbled and dropped. So an incomplete pass on 1st down will bring up 2nd and 10 for Zionsville.
Yeah, and I don't think that was a very good read by Parker Dunshee there. The cornerbacks are sitting down in kind of a bump and run coverage. So, running a hitch like that, it's probably not the smartest play call there. They should probably check off and run a fade or something deeper.
Parker Dunshee under center again. He'll hand the ball off on that counter play you talked about to Cole Went. And Cole gets about 7 yards. And a nice gain there on 2nd down will bring up 3rd and manageable. So Zionsville will have a little bit of room to work with in their playbook as it's going to be 3rd and 4 yards to go.
And once again, a big 3rd down for Zionsville as well as for Pike here. And, it's really turned into a defensive grudge match out here as both offensives has stalled when they get into scoring territory. But we'll see if Zionsville can maintain this drive here.
And a big 3rd down for the Eagles if they want to put points on the board before halftime. Still maintaining a 10-0 lead. Quick pass is made to Avery Boxell, and that's good for a 1st down. And I call him Mr. Reliable. It seems like anytime you have a 3rd down, you put the ball in Boxell's hands. Very sure-handed receiver, Alex, and we've seen him come up big for the Eagles time and time again when they need him.
Yeah, he's an ideal slot receiver for Zionsville. He's a little bit undersized at 5'8", but he's very quick and has sure hands, and that's exactly what tonight, basically, Zionsville's had about 3 drops tonight, and that's really hurt them on their drives. And right there, a nice bubble screen was able to get them a 1st down on that 3rd and 4.
Single back this time for Zionsville. Cole Went gets the handoff, and he's stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Maybe gets a half a yard, but it'll be 2nd and long for Zionsville. The ball is in Pike territory, although barely. It's at the Pike 49-yard line. Zionsville working with 3 minutes left on the clock, so plenty of time left for the Eagles. They have 2 timeouts remaining, as I'm sure they would love for this to be the last possession of the half and just work their way down there methodically.
And that's what they seem to be doing here. Their play calls there's no sense of urgency trying to throw the ball, and they're very confident in their offensive line and Cole Went to get the ball down the field.
And a quick drop as Parker throws it up and far too long. Pass was intended for John Nomchef along the Pike sideline, and that'll stop the clock with 2:47 remaining. It's 3rd and 9 for the Eagles.
And that's exactly where he wanted to throw it. If he's going to throw it arid, miss it out and long, so it's not possibly intercepted. But he did have John Nomchef there if he would have thrown it more of on a line and back a little bit. But a good job by Pike secondary to stay in there and not let John Nomchef get anything long.
And we're still awaiting a play call from the sideline. Parker Dunshee is. There's only 7 seconds left on the play clock, so they're going to have to hurry to get this one off.
And they better call timeout.
2-1, yeah, they're going to need it. And a nice heads-up play there by Parker Dunshee. And really not his fault, I don't believe, there, as he just continued to wait from the sideline to get the play in.
Yeah, and it looked like they were trying to bring Colton Smith in, and the coach said no, and Cole went back out there, and they just didn't really get a play out there. So have to burn a timeout. It's not a bad way to do it. It's early or late in the second quarter, so we'll see what play call they can dial up here, and hopefully they can get a first down and keep this drive going and finish the half strong.
Yeah, that's a situation where I think for a lot of people watching at home or watching in the stands, you think, the offense needs to hurry up. But clearly from up here we have a nice vantage point where we can see that Parker Dunshee was clearly waiting on the play to be called, and really a nice job by him getting that timeout and avoiding a 5-yard penalty. Zionsville's already facing a 3rd and 9 right now at the Pike 48-yard line.
And it'll be interesting to see the play call here, because this is exactly the point where Zionsville does not want to turn the ball over with 2:47. If you can't get a first down, that's fine. Punt it away and play field possession and let them drive all the way down the field if they can.
Single back is going to be Cole Went for Zionsville. Avery Boxall is checked in at wide receiver. On the far side of your screen is John Nomchef. And a 5-step drop for Parker Dunshee. Unloads to John Nomchef. Tries to make a one-handed grab and can't come in with it. Could have been an interference call on the play, but the flag was not thrown. And really, John Nomchef had a chance to come down with that ball and couldn't quite make the play. Zionsville will have to punt it away with 2:43 remaining here in the first half.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good throw, and he threw basically a fade on the line and gave Nomchef a chance. He just wasn't able to make that one-handed catch there. It would have been an incredible catch if he would have made it, but Zionsville's going to punt the ball away. And
another low snap here on the punt. And the punt is muffed.
And Zionsville
picks it up, so about a 35-yard gain on the play there for Zionsville, as the snap was low to Parker Dunshee, got the kick away. I was waiting for a fair catch to be called. I don't even believe he called the fair catch.
He didn't.
But it didn't matter regardless. It was fumbled and immediately picked up by Zionsville.
And that's a huge, huge play with 2:34 left in the first half. Zionsville's already leading 10-0, and now they get the ball on Pike's 15-yard line. And the person who came up with the ball was Hayden Clark, who's already made one big special teams play tonight. Well, almost on a punt, but we've called his name, and that basically just one-hopped off the chest of the Pike return man right into his arms.
So Zionsville, I imagine, will be content with running the ball here on this first play, as they would probably like some of this clock to be taken off. And the handoff is to Cole Went, and he might take it in. No, he's brought down
almost
inside the 5. Yeah, we've talked a lot. Cole Went, the leading rusher for Zionsville, only has a few touchdowns on the season. He hasn't broken many long scores. He's had some from the 1-yard line, and then a lot of times he'd get them down to the 1, and Zionsville would run the ball with either Wisniewski or with Parker Dunshee. So
a lot of times we're calling, it's like, it looks like the run is going to Cole Went, and he's almost going to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
But that's a very good play call right there, as the clock is still running. Oh, looks like they're measuring it. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to measure for the first down here. If Zionsville gets it, it'll be 1st and goal from right about the 2 or 3 yard line. And with 2 minutes and 28 seconds remaining here in the first half, the Eagles will be content with running the ball, I imagine, still.
Absolutely, and Pike does have 3 timeouts, so it might be time for them to use those timeouts in case he does not score on this first play here.
The first down is given to the Eagles, so 1st and goal from the 3 yard line for Zionsville.
And this first half has just been a lot of sloppy play by Pike. They're a very good team. They've got great players, personnel, and very solid offensive line. They just haven't been able to capitalize and basically take care of the football tonight.
Still waiting on the play clock to be set, and it now is. Zionsville takes to the line of scrimmage. I formation now for the Eagles. Wisniewski and Cole Went in the backfield. Parker Dunshee under center. The lone wide receiver split out as John Nomchef. The pitch is to Cole Went. He's going to have a free walk to the end zone, but a flag is thrown, and that's in the backfield, and that's usually in the area of holding.
It sure is, and I think that's what they're going to call here. And on a 1st and goal from the 3 yard line, a penalty like holding is the last thing you want to happen. It really changes how you play call, and we'll see what the call is.
And the referee calls it holding on the offense. The ball will be moved back to the 13-yard line. It'll still be first down, so it'll be first and goal Zionsville from the Pike 13 with 2:06 remaining here in the half. The referees are mic'd up tonight, so you might be able to hear them in the background of our broadcast over the loudspeaker. I think that's the first time they used their mic, though, tonight.
I think so, too. And the big thing right now for Zionsville is I think with 2 minutes left, try to run the ball and get some of that ground back right there and work some of that clock. Don't leave Pike any opportunity to take the ball down depending on what happens.
Zionsville's going to re-huddle as we're once again waiting for the ball to be set. And as soon as Zionsville huddled up again, the ball was set and the play clock was started running. So we've got about 14 seconds left on the play clock. Plenty of time as Zionsville comes up to the line of scrimmage. Lone receiver again is John Nomchef. And the handoff, no, it's an option play as Parker will keep it. And he runs into the end zone for a touchdown. So Zionsville shoots themselves on the foot, and then Parker Dunshee takes it in. And how about Cole Went getting another touchdown taken away off a holding call, and then Parker Dunshee takes it in for a 13-yard
Mr.
score.
Almost, and all year long, Parker Dunshee's really been the leader and the go-to guy for this offense. Between him and Nomchef, I think they've accumulated almost 20 touchdowns together, which is pretty incredible. That's a very good stat for a quarterback in high school football. So, a very good job by Zionsville's offense to capitalize off that turnover, and Pike's really just continuing to shoot themselves in the foot a little bit.
And Grider kicks the extra point. It is good. With 2 minutes remaining here in the first half, Zionsville leads the Pike Red Devils 17-0. And Alex, Zionsville is really playing well this state football playoff so far. Through 6 quarters almost, they have played excellent football. And, sky's the limit. If they can get past this game, I imagine we'll have to check the score to see the Terre Haute North Avon game. Zionsville has already played Avon and beat them pretty handedly, albeit they did kind of allow a minor comeback there at the end.
And Avon is a good football team, and as the sectional's already gone this year, if you're Zionsville, you probably don't want to play Avon again because you really showed them pretty much everything you had in the first game or first meeting, and that can really hurt you as a team, as it did to Brownsburg, Ben Davis, and Carmel this year. And so as we go through, it looks like we just heard that Lawrence Central is beating Warren Central 7-0 right now. I'm not sure how much time is left there. And Zionsville is getting ready and set to kick off here. You're going to see a 2-minute offense from Pike as they have 2:01 left in the first half. And, it's not anything new for them as they run a hurry-up offense anyways. But, they'll actually have to have a sense of urgency with the clock winding down. And, Zionsville's really got to be careful here with how they play defense.
And the kick return is taken by Pike, and a lot of running room as that's number 2 for the Red Devils, Keith Cork. He speeds down the sideline and puts Pike in really good field position here. I'm trying right now. I'm looking all over Twitter right now trying to find the score for the Avon Terre Haute North game. I'm going to get you that as soon as possible.
And looks like they're saying that he was marked down right at about the 48-yard line. So fortunate thing for Zionsville is he had a lot of room on the sideline, and as Pike has failed to take care of the football, Zionsville has failed to tackle them on kickoff returns. So Pike's going to come out here and have pretty good field position.
Pike looking to the sideline. As Alex mentioned, that return got called back a little ways, so Pike has about 52 yards in front of them to get to pay dirt. 1 minute and 52 seconds remaining here in the first half of the game. Zionsville leads 17-0 as Lyles looks downfield. He's got a man open. And
but it's intercepted.
What a play by Ben Kocher on the Pike sideline, number 15, as he stole that ball.
The ball was mishandled by number 11 there.
Devin Pearson. I mean, he had his hands on the ball, but just bobbled it for a second, and Kocher just ripped it away from him.
Yeah, Kocher came up at the opportune time because the ball was being bobbled a little bit, and Kocher just kind of punched it up in the air and was able to make the catch there. Incredible throw by Brent Lyles right there. He had a man wide open down the sideline, and luckily Kocher was able to get over there and make that interception. So Zionsville at the minute 44 with one timeout. The clock does
Oh, they're
stop
going
on
to have
first
some
downs.
time, yeah.
I say
As
go
well as
time
they
and see
throw
what
the
they can
ball.
do.
You know, that interception is going to be credited to Brent Lyles in the stat book, but that was all Devin Pearson there. Just has to hang on to the ball as Cole went breaking one there. And Cole wants to get that big touchdown run. You know he does, but a nice carry there for about 20 yards as that immediately moves the ball into Pike territory. And Zionsville's offense huddles up, but clock's going to stop as there's a Pike player down in the backfield. And I think we were told wrong earlier. It seems kind of the consensus on my Twitter here is saying Avon leads Terre Haute North 7-0 with about 3.5 minutes left to go in the first half.
Right there is a demonstration of Cole Wentz vision. He was able to find the hole with the offensive line and make a big run, and Mr. Almost just got tripped up before he could make that big touchdown run. But he's been so great all year. He runs with the ball, 2 hands on the ball. He never fumbles. He's a good control and possession running back, and just been really impressed with him. He's only a junior, so we'll get to see him next year. But you know, Zionsville has really gotten some opportunities here, and they've been able to do it.
And we just learned up here in the press box that another Hoosier Crossroads Conference news, Fishers is leading Hamilton Southeastern 7-0, and you know that's a big rivalry over there in Fishers. And that's going to be a big game tonight. Both those teams played in the regular season. I believe Hamilton Southeastern won that one. So that could be, the third or fourth, fifth matchup we've seen so far just in the first 2 weeks of the postseason where it's kind of a revenge factor. And the team that loses in the regular season winds up winning in the playoffs. The player is still down for Pike and not able to see anything or make out who it is as there's a crowd gathered around him. Try to get as much information to you as possible.
Yeah, I can't tell if he's sitting up or laying on his back. His knees are bent and up. And it looks like he is sitting up, and he's going to get up right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to walk. He's walking off on his own power. That's number 19, Kevin Brown, an outside linebacker for the Red Devils, and it's nice to see him get up and just walk it off. May have just kind of had some stars there for a minute.
And that's the only linebacker position where they actually have a backup that's not a starter. They have listed that Quentin Moon, who starts on the outside linebacker, is the backup linebacker for the other 3 linebackers. So, you know, it's a good thing if one goes down that is the one he actually has a backup behind him to play. So, Zionsville with 1:38 is leading 17-0, and they're moving the ball. They have the ball on Pike's 46-yard line.
And we're still waiting for the whistle to blow as referees have been a little bit slow setting the ball tonight. And it's a play action as Parker Dunchie sprints right and throws what I believe is an interception. Yes, it will be. So the ball is picked off by Pike. I'm not sure what was happening on that play. It looked like Avery Boxall never really turned around to see that Parker was throwing it to him. Parker had a man underneath, which was Carson Kennedy.
I think that's who he was going to. I think he just overthrew the tight end coming across
the field. He fired
it
if he was throwing.
Yeah, he really rocketed it, and it was just an arid throw. But I couldn't really tell if that ball was intercepted. It's very low on the ground. So
we thought there was going to be about one possession in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and this is going to be the third possession change. And Pike's going to look to try to put something on the board. This ball is thrown and caught by Pearson, number 11. And I believe he's caught every ball tonight for Pike.
I think that was number 1 for Pike. That's Dominique Booth who made that catch. Bigger receiver. He's 6'1", 195, but a very good catch and a good throw right there by Lyles.
Lyles again takes a shotgun snap, has to step up and avoid some rush. He's getting chased from behind and throws, and the ball is caught again by number 1, Dominique Booth. And this will put the Pike Red Devils in Zionsville territory as they're hurrying up. They still have all 3 timeouts left, right, Alex?
They sure do. And right there, it looked like Brent Lyles very close to going across the line of scrimmage before he threw it, but he did a good job to not. And, yeah, I agree with you. They do have 3 timeouts, but they are choosing to spike the ball on first first down. They're in Zionsville's territory at the 45-yard line, and what we expected to be at least a 17-0 margin for Zionsville at halftime could easily be cut to 10 or 13.
Lyles has plenty of time. Ball's thrown low. I think it's skipped. They're going to call it a catch.
Well, the ref's coming in from the other side saying it was incomplete. It did look like it hit the ground.
Yeah, the referee behind the play tried to call it a catch, but I think it clearly skipped on the ground. So that's going to be an incomplete pass. You mentioned earlier that they spiked the ball instead of calling a timeout, but as long as the referees have taken to spot the ball tonight, almost zero time comes off the clock. So if it comes to that, you can get up there and spike the ball after a first down with just a second or two.
Right, and right here it's 3rd and 10. It would be 2nd and 10, and if that was their first play. So it could come back to haunt them right here on this possession.
And it's thrown high, almost picked off, but the ball hits the ground. That
Phenomenal play once again by Ben Kocher. Comes up and makes a hit and jars the ball out. So the safety play from Zionsville between Jackson Schaefer and Ben Kocher, and then number 25.
That's Connor.
Yeah, Connor. It's been great tonight, and they're going to go for it on 4th and 10.
Now, this is dangerous. If you don't get this here, you give Zionsville the ball back with a timeout almost at midfield, and a big rush as the hit is made, but Dominique Booth takes it and is tripped up as he gets inside the Zionsville 20, so a big play there as Jackson Schaefer came through around the end and blindsided Lyles.
It was a very fortunate throw and a great throw by Lyles to step up there and make that throw. He felt pressure and was still able to find a man pretty much wide open down the field. And Pike's going to burn their first time out of the half with 54.6 seconds left. Pike is driving on Zionsville's 18-yard line.
Should mention Terre Haute North just scored a 26-yard touchdown to tie Avon. And they're already at halftime, actually. So Avon and Terre Haute North are sitting at 7-7 at the half.
And also another score update, Warren Central is losing to Lawrence Central 14-0. Now this Lawrence Central squad all year is pretty much been extremely good. I think they're undefeated at 10-0 this year. And
I think they're the only are they the only team in 5A undefeated?
I think so. They took over the number 1 rank after Ben Davis lost last week, and they've been pretty solid all year round.
Yeah, Lawrence Central, if they can hang on tonight against Warren, very well might win Sectional 5. As may the winner of this game. And Pike has the ball 1st and 10 at the Zionsville 19, but a false start before the play will push it back 5 yards, so it'll be 1st and 15 from the 24 of Zionsville. As Alex mentioned, 54 seconds remain here in this first half. Zionsville leads 17-0.
And this is a very, very big series for Pike. They're down 17-0. They do not get the ball back at the start of the second half, so they really need to put some points on the board. And I don't know what their kicker is like, but they seem to be in somewhat of field position or field goal area as they hand the ball off this time.
And a quick pass is batted down. I'm not sure what kind of play that was, Alex. That was a strange-looking play from up here in the press box. Certainly hadn't seen anything like it this year.
I thought he handed the ball off to the running back, but he kept it and tried to do a little shovel pass outside to the receiver, and the DB was there to knock it down. Very dangerous play there.
Kind of jumped up in the air when he did it. Kind of a Tim Tebow-esque pass thrown there. And 2nd and long for Pike. Lyles has plenty of time and finally gets Dominique Booth the ball, and he's inside the Zionsville 5. And I imagine we'll see another timeout taken here by Pike. Or did he go out of bounds?
I don't think so. I think he was tackled inbounds, but nice job. This Brent Lyles kid has got a lot of poise, and he's able to stand in that pocket, not getting a lot of pressure on him, and he's really been able to pick apart the Zionsville defense in this last possession here.
36 seconds remaining. The clock is ticking. Lyles fires, and it is hit by Woodard and can't hang on to the ball. The pass was intended for number 1?
I think
so. I think
again,
from here, from this angle, it looks like Dominique Booth again. Joshua Woodard, number 19, the cornerback for Zionsville, came up and made a nice hit on the play. So 2 timeouts remaining for Pike. Ball is at the Zionsville 4-yard line with 27 seconds here.
It looks like they're going to go in an I formation here and see if maybe they can run the ball. They'd have enough time with 2 timeouts to try to run the ball, but we'll see.
They're going to pitch it to the outside as Panola had a chance.
Nice
and
job.
A nice follow-up there. Kocher in on the play, as well as another Zionsville defender. And Scott Panola didn't make the tackle, but he really slowed down that play and made the running back there for Pike kind of bounce it out and just made it slower to develop. So there's a tackle for loss there, about a loss of 2 yards on the play as Pike calls a timeout.
Now, the biggest thing there with Scott Panola is that he was able to get a hand on the running back. He did want to bounce it. It was a sweet play designed, but by him getting a hand on him, it slowed the running back down enough to where he wasn't going to be able to get the edge and had to cut it back into a mass of Zionsville defenders there. So good job there. 3rd down and 6 to go at the 6-yard line, or 3rd down and goal, I should say, from the 6. 21.1 seconds left. They do have one more timeout left, but I think they're going to feel obligated to have to throw the football here.
And both teams will take the field again. So this first half clock ticked fast, but these last 5 minutes seem to have taken forever up here in the press box. Lyles will work out of the shotgun. 4 wide receivers for Pike. The tailback with Lyles is number 21, Taylor Sanders, who's had a nice half thus far. Lyles, a lot of pressure, throws it up.
Nice
and
D.
Too far, but nice defense by Joshua Woodard, the corner. And that'll bring up 4th down as Pike here is going to settle for a field goal try.
And I think that's a smart decision here, being down 17 and makes it a 2-touchdown game. But, I've really been impressed by Joshua Woodard this year. He's been a very solid corner for Zionsville. Is a very good ball hawker, good defender against the pass, and also can come up and make a good hit. So, I've continued to be impressed by him. He's a good-sized kid. He's 6'2", 190, so he's a big-sized corner and is able to do good things.
The field goal try, the snap was high.
Nice
and
kick,
nice
though.
job there, able to get it down. That was number 11, the receiver, Devin Pearson. That was a tough job by him to have to catch it up high and still place the ball for the kicker, but that'll change it to a 2-score game as now Zionsville leads 17-3 after the Pike field goal. 14 seconds remain in the half, and we'll just probably see a return and just one play by Zionsville before the half.
And it's been a pretty successful half for Zionsville. Pike has shown a lot of good things, but at the same time, they've also really shot themselves in the foot throughout this first half. And it's one of those things where going into the halftime being down 14 points could have been a lot worse. It's much like the Avon game was against Zionsville earlier in the season, where Zionsville really controlled the ball in the first half, but we're only leading by 7 points at halftime. But right now, Pike has got to go into the halftime saying, we can get out here and do okay in the second half. We were able to move the ball against Zionsville through the air, and that's what their game is really about.
Waiting the kickoff here for Pike as they sprint to the football and stop, kind of faking an onside there. And they're going to line up and kick the ball off regularly from their own 40. Kicks up in the air, and it will be taken by Colton Smith. And he's going to look for a return. Has a lane as he's sprinting away and caught from behind by number 26, Eric Dobbins. Eric Dobbins has made a lot of tackles both on defense and special teams for the Red Devils tonight.
He sure has, but that was a very good return right there by Colton Smith. Doesn't really mean a lot with 8 seconds left. They'll probably kneel it out. But, a very good job right there to find the opening lane and get some positive yards there. And it looks like Zionsville is going to take a knee and go into halftime leading by 14 points. A very successful half by Zionsville as far as the score goes, and capitalizing on the 3 turnovers by Pike. And that's exactly what they do. They take a knee, and it looks like there was a penalty on the play for false start on Zionsville.
On the kneel down. So Zionsville will have to kneel it down again, I believe. And we're still awaiting the second kneel down, but I think we're going to go ahead and accept that Zionsville's going to run the clock out and move on to halftime. At halftime, Zionsville leads 17-3 over the Pike Red Devils. We'll try to catch up on the area scores and also try to come up with some stats for you, and we'll present those to you in the second half. Zionsville leads 17-3 here at home against the Red Devils. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.com. All right, everyone, we're back for the second half here at Zionsville. The Eagles lead 17-3, and Zionsville will receive the opening kickoff of the second half after they elected to defer. They won the toss to begin the game and deferred to the second half, so they'll get the ball here. And I think you can see that front row is lined up tight as Pike has faked this little onside kick a few times, maybe giving themselves kind of a setup to go through with it later on if they need to. Kick is up and away, and it's a high kick, going to be fielded inside the 5 for Zionsville, and a little bit of room to run, and outran his blockers there a little bit was Tyler Glenn, the corner. So Zionsville's offense will take over right outside their own 30. Alex, you want to kind of go over just highlight some stats from the first half for us?
Absolutely. In the first half, Pike ran the ball for 107 yards, passed the ball for 91 yards. Zionsville ran the ball for 118, passed the ball for 80. The big stat right here is that Pike had 4 turnovers to Zionsville's 2, and I think Zionsville scored after 3 of the turnovers, and that kind of resulted in the 17-3 margin of score for Zionsville.
Yeah, Pike was able to rack up some yardage, but just couldn't put it in the end zone, and also a couple costly turnovers really kind of set up the score in that first half as the first handoff for Zionsville goes to Cole Wendt, and about a 2-yard gain there for the Eagles.
Yeah, and I think Zionsville needs to be careful in this second half. They're up 2 touchdowns, but with Pike's ability to score the ball and move the ball quickly, that can easily be erased. They really have to put the gas on and press really hard against this Pike defense and get them tired again. It kind of turned into a defensive battle in the end of the first half, and Zionsville was able to score off of those turnovers. So we'll see what they're able to do here.
Another handoff to Wendt, and he pushes forward for another couple of yards.
Penalty.
Yeah, late flag, and usually what we'll see is if someone dives on the pile later or hits the runner while he's down, they might call a personal foul. We'll see which way this goes.
And that ref really just kind of threw it at the pile.
Could be a face mask. Yeah, and it is going to be a face mask.
That's exactly what it is, yeah. So a very costly penalty for Pike in this first drive of Zionsville. Instead of it being 3rd and 6, it's now going to be 1st and 10 plus 15 yards.
Yeah, those 15-yarders are big ones. You get a first down and a half. And
all of a sudden you're in Pike's territory.
Yeah, automatic first down in Pike territory as Zionsville was going to be facing a 3rd and 6. So the Eagles will have 1st and 10 now. And the ball, as Alex mentioned, is inside Pike territory at the Red Devil 47-yard line. The handoff this time to Cole Wendt, looking for some running room, finds a gap and hits it hard. A very nice job there, being patient by the tailback Cole Wendt. That'll net Zionsville a gain of 4 and bring up 2nd and 6 for the Eagles.
There's a very good cutback right there by Cole Wendt. He was patient, waited. They're really having a lot of success running those counter plays, those misdirection against this Pike defense. This Pike defense is very strong, fast, and athletic, but they're flowing very hard one way, and Zionsville's being able to run those counter plays to get positive yards almost every single time.
I think Pike has a tendency to over-pursue at times, and I think those counter plays really play into the hand very well as this trap. Oh, a nice trap. And Steven Wisniewski.
And he fumbled the ball.
Oh, he fumbled. Okay, he ran over a Pike defender but fumbled while doing it. And we're going to have to see. I don't see any way how Pike didn't come up with that football.
I don't either.
There was 2 defenders right next to it, and Pike did.
Ball.
So just as Pike fumbled away the ball on their first possession of the first half, Zionsville returns the favor, and they're going to fumble away their first possession here in the second half.
And that's a killer fumble and turnover from Zionsville because they were moving the ball very successfully, and you just kind of had the sense that they were setting themselves up for a big play action right there as they ran the ball 5 times in that series. But nevertheless, a good job by Pike to come up with that football, and now they have the ball, and this could turn into a football game very quickly.
I would go as far to say that you score right there to start the half. That's a big-time demoralizer to the Red Devils. And the pitch play here to Sanders, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. So no gain on the play there for the Red Devils. Zionsville's defense needs to hold strong. Giving up a score here would definitely up the ante moving forward for the Red Devils.
Absolutely, and one player for Zionsville that we've yet to see become very involved in this game is Scott Panola, pretty much the heart of this defense. He hasn't really gotten in there and made any big plays as...
Oh, the ball couldn't have hung up in the air longer, and good for a first down catch. A nice job by Brent Lyles there avoiding the rush, and a good job by Daniel McCullough getting his hands up, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
He forced the play to take a little longer, but a nice job there by Lyles.
And that's the kind of play that Brent Lyles can make. He can get outside of the pocket and with his feet open up some time for himself and make throws like he just did right there.
4 wide receivers for the Red Devils. 1st and 10, Brent Lyles looks and fires. Ball is caught and is finally drugged down. I think forward progress is going to take the Pike player out to the Zionsville 35.
Late penalty, I'm not sure.
The ball was caught by number 87, Nick Hernandez.
And there's another penalty flag thrown late towards the pile. We'll see what the indication will be here.
You would think either way the play would stand, as the penalty would have just come in late.
Absolutely, yeah.
Man,
they're going to wave it off again. This is the second time tonight they waved off a penalty, so these refs haven't thrown a lot of penalty flags tonight, but when they have, it seems like they're not wanting to stick with their calls, so a little bit of a lack of confidence in their penalty calls here.
Another first down here for the Red Devils. Lyles, the ball is tipped and still falls into the hands of Dominique Booth. And the ball hung up in the air for a while and fell right into the hands of Booth, the intended receiver. So a gain of about 6 yards on the play there for the Red Devils will bring up 2nd and about 4.
And I'm obviously not going to discredit both of these teams and how they've played tonight, but a lot of the luck went towards Zionsville's way with tipped passes and balls and fumbles and turnovers, and it seems like the second half so far has gone Pike's way a little bit.
And an option here as Lyles didn't really have anywhere to go with it. He thought, I believe that was Sanders trailing him. He thought he'd be out in front of him a little bit. Went to pitch the ball in the option, and the running back just wasn't there. So Lyles scampers forward, picks up a couple yards, and goes down as Connor Dahl now, the defensive tackle for the Eagles, is down on the field, and it looks like it could be somewhere. Looks like it might be a leg injury as he's sitting up and has his legs out in front of him.
Absolutely, and pretty smart job by Lyle right there not to pitch the ball, because the man, I didn't see who it was running, and he was pretty much going to split the quarterback and the running back in that option, and possibly could have had a pretty much a pitch interception, if you want to call it that, and would have had a free run to the end zone. So good job right there by Brent Lyles, and now it's a big 3rd down for Pike and Zionsville here, as Connor Dahl is limping off with some assistance. And hopefully he's okay. He's a big part of the Zionsville defense, so we'll see if he can get back out there.
Yeah, Zionsville rotates a lot of players on the defensive line, and Connor Dahl, a big part of the rotation throughout the year. They still have Noah Rogers and Trewartha in there. But with this hurry-up offense, it definitely benefits you to have some players you can rotate in, as this handoff is going to be good for a first down. Handoff was made to Taylor Sanders, number 21, as he drags tacklers forward inside the Zionsville 20. I have a score update here for some of the 4A fans of high school football. The Roncalli Rebels are leading the Greenwood Woodmen 21-7 early in the 3rd quarter. And also Lawrence Central up 14-0 over Warren Central in the 3rd quarter.
And touchdown Pike. Very good job right there as a fake pitch play action right there. And Brent Lyles stiff-armed. It looked like that was Carter Spear not allowing him to make a tackle, and really had a nice pitch and catch there. I didn't see who caught the ball, but all of a sudden, momentum shift for Pike, and Pike is only down a touchdown.
Yeah, Pike trailing by 1 score now, pending the extra point. Well, even if they were to miss the extra point, they'd be down 8. And I think they're waiting for a T, maybe. So Pike gets their last man in there on the point after try, and this attempt will be made. Nick Hernandez is the kicker here for the Red Devils. And the extra point is up and good. So Pike now trails 17-10 here at Zionsville. 8 minutes and 18 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Zionsville starts the quarter off by driving the ball into the Red Devils territory and then fumbles it away. Steven Wisniewski fumbled after a nice gain, really, on a trap play, and Pike able to march it down the field for their first touchdown of the night. So Zionsville desperately needing a response here. You're not going to want to turn this ball over or have to punt. You're definitely going to want to put points up on the board and just try to continue to build on a lead here.
Absolutely, and Pike is a very, very good football team. You know, the first half with the turnovers is not very indicative to how good this football team is, and I'm still continuing to be impressed by the quarterback and running backs for this Pike team. This running back tandem between Sanders and Wilkerson has just been phenomenal tonight, and they've been able to break a lot of tackles and get upfield. And once again, Pike will huddle up and do an act like they're going to do an onside kick just for kicks and giggles as they pull back and will.
They've been doing that. Yeah, they've been doing that throughout the night. They're going to wind up kicking it deep, I believe. Here the Red Devils are.
But this Pike sideline is really picked up a little bit. There's a lot of momentum over there, and they're all getting up. So we'll see how this game shapes up.
Hernandez kicks deep, taken by Tyler Glenn at about the 8-yard line. Glenn has some room to run as he spins off of, actually ran into the back of one of his blockers and then spun off of him. Takes the ball out to the 30-yard line where the Eagle offense will take over. Another score from Hoosier Crossroads Conference action. McCutcheon leads Noblesville 19-10. So McCutcheon may very well limp into their sectional championship after going, I believe they went defeated in the Hoosier Crossroads. They might have won a game or so.
Dude, I think they beat Harrison.
Maybe, yeah. But even at that, you know, just it shows the way that it shakes out sometimes with the draw you get. So McCutcheon might actually make it to the sectional championship. Cole Went brought down behind the line of scrimmage, or right at the line of scrimmage. Number 91 was in on the play, and also the big defensive end, David Kinney.
And, yeah, that was a very good tackle right there. And Colwyn just really had nowhere to go. So Zionsville's really got to mix up the play calls here. You know, they really had success running the football in the first half. But, you know, the size and strength of this defensive line for Pike and the linebackers has just been extremely strong tonight.
The lone back here is the fullback, Wisniewski. And a quick drop for Parker Dungy. Ball is tipped and hits the ground, and that was number 9, David Kinney, getting his hands up in the air and tipping that ball. Very dangerous play there, as it could have very well been picked off, and there was no one ahead of the defense there for Pike. It'll be 3rd and 10 for the Red Devils.
And, yeah, like you said, a nice job by number 9 right there to get his hands up. David Kinney's been everywhere tonight, and he's certainly the best player on this Pike defense, and he's shown it tonight. You know, he's really been a huge factor, and Zionsville really has not been able to get passes off and have to do 3-step drops to keep it quick.
And this quick pass to the outside for Colton Smith, but he really has nowhere to go. And David Kinney was in on that play again. It'll be 4th down, and a punt will be forced here. And the momentum has completely shifted, it seems, to the Pike Red Devils, as they're going to get the ball back with a chance to tie or maybe even take the lead.
And it just seems like the Zionsville sideline has become very stagnant and just not a lot of heads hanging low. And, you know, they're still up in this game, 17-10. They have the lead. You know,
another low snap. Parker Dungy controls it, punts it away. It takes a good bounce for Zionsville. And
nice coverage.
Very nice coverage, as there's 4 or 5 Zionsville defenders on the punt coverage team down there. Pike will take over at their own 23, and it looks like we're going to have quite an ending to this game, probably, Alex, as Zionsville's been in a few nail-biters to end the season, and also last week at Brownsburg. What an excellent game that was. A good sectional game to watch if you were brave enough to go out there and bear the cold and the rain for a few hours.
Absolutely, and this game, it just kind of feels like it's really just now getting started. Zionsville had an early 17-0 lead, and since then it's kind of been a Pike show, really.
Shotgun snap. Lyles finds a man, and it is thrown low and ahead of him. That was to number 81. The pass was intended for Jermaine Payne. Has a nice ring to it for a football player. And Jermaine there, I think he might have saw the safety over the top coming towards him because he didn't really make much of an effort to lunge forward to grab that ball.
And that's the same safety who made a really big hit earlier, so it's no surprise that he didn't want to take the hit. Oh, my goodness. What a huge play right there by number 45. Is that Jimmy Morrison?
That's Morrison right at the line of scrimmage, stopping Sanders on the carry.
And that was a great tackle and great surge right there to get through the line and make that tackle. That's one thing I haven't seen Zionsville do is get a lot of penetration on defense and make those early tackles and contact on these running backs. And, you expect to see Pike throw on 3rd and 10 here. This is a big 3rd down.
Zionsville's going to go to a nickel package and play with 3 safeties. They're going to play with Kocher, Connor, and sack. A big play there.
Jimmy Morrison.
The credit for the sack goes to 26, Scott Panola. A few players got upfield and pressured Brent Lyles to step up, and then Panola wrapped him up. So that'll be a loss of, about 7 yards there on the play.
And if I'm Zionsville coaches, I say go for this block punt right here and deep in their own territory.
We've seen snaps. Look how high and slow the snap is as McCullough can't get back there. Get away from it. Oh, wow. That was number 19, Josh Woodard, was very close to having that punt hit him. And we've seen that. How slow is that snap to get him back there?
It's unbelievable. I really can't believe they didn't go for a blitz there. That's pretty much immediate. If you actually dial up a blitz right there with that snap, it's absolutely going to get blocked and could easily be a touchdown, a quick points for Zionsville.
Or a safety. He had to backpedal into his own end zone just to hang on to that snap before he got the punt away. So we have 5.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Zionsville leads 17-10. They have the ball at the Pike 42-yard line. 4 wide receivers now for Zionsville in the game. The quick pass is high to Carson Kennedy, but he goes up and gets it. And that's what you expect out of your tight end. That's what the big guys are supposed to be. That's what they're paid so much to do in the NFL nowadays, is go over the middle and catch some of those balls that no one else wants to.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great snag by Carson Kennedy. Caught up with his fingertips at its highest point. And, it just seems like Dunshie's not been able to really calm down in the pocket. He's had a lot of pressure on him from this defensive front of Pike. And, a good job sitting in there and making that throw. And it looks like Zionsville is going to kind of try to spread it out a little bit.
Blitz coming. Quick pass here to Boxall. And Boxall, nice, just catches it over the middle, advances the ball forward, gets upfield. I don't think we could say enough great things about Avery Boxall's play over the course of the year. Hasn't gotten the most playing time or the most targets, but just continues to come up in big situations.
I would certainly say he's the most consistent receiver for Zionsville as far as possession, catching the ball. I don't think he's dropped one ball this year, and that's a big attribute to have.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Eagles now. They can get a first down inside the Pike 2-yard line. The quick throw is to Namchef, and Pike will intercept the pass. That's number 7 as the ball was severely underthrown. Robert Williams gets the interception, but did kind of a silly thing there and trying to take a couple steps to get out of the end zone. He could have easily just stayed down there, and that would have been a touchback and come out to the 20. But Pike's offense will be forced to take over at their own 3, actually inside their own 3. And with the shotgun offense that we've seen from Pike most of the night, this could be a dangerous situation for the Red Devils.
It sure could, but it's just another situation where you got to control the football, or possess the football and not turn the ball over. You had such a good job getting down to the red zone, and Zionsville this year has not really turned the ball over too much, especially in the red zone. And right there in sectional play, you really got to protect the football.
Yeah, just an underthrown ball there by Parker Dunshie. Probably had John Namchef for a touchdown. And this handoff will be taken out to about the 8-yard line. So a gain of about 5 on the run there as Pike's offensive line, I think they're averaging about 285 across the line. So I think that they're easily the biggest offensive line the Zionsville defense has seen yet this year.
Absolutely, and they're doing a great job opening up holes, and these running backs are averaging a good 7-8 yards per carry, it seems like, and that's really going to set you up for success on offense, especially when you throw the football a lot.
Another gain this time up the middle for about 2 yards, so it's going to be 3rd and 2 for the Eagles, or for the Red Devils, I'm sorry. Pike in the I formation, Lyles under center, which we haven't seen a lot of, and he is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. That might be a loss of a full yard. So Pike's going to have to punt it here, and I think up here in the press box, me and Alex are both clamoring. You gotta really send a rush because every snap tonight on this punt team for Pike has been slow. It's been high,
and they're coming. I can see them stacking up that left side over there. I think they're really going to bring a heat here. And
Zionsville's going to come, but they might have missed their chance. Oh, and they're so close. And they're going to call that running into the kicker. From up here, it looked like the Pike player was pushed back into the kicker.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that ref's going to be pretty content on making this call as a roughing the punter, and it's going to be an automatic first down for Pike. So Zionsville, as Pike did in the first half, is really shooting themselves in the foot here. Would have been nice to see those refs be indecisive and wave another flag off right there if you're on the Zionsville side, but nevertheless, Pike, a very fortunate penalty. And
so there's the reason that you don't go after the kick.
Exactly. If you don't touch that ball, it's crowded around that punter. He can easily flop, or any contact, he goes down. It's going to be a penalty.
I still think from up here, it looked like the defender was pushed back into the punter.
I agree with you, but once again, it was still a high snap, and there was definitely a possibility to get in there and block the punt. It just didn't happen.
Oh, they're going to be all night. Those snaps have been very poor all night long. So Zionsville's going to have another chance. And this time the running back breaks loose. And a big gain here for Pike. That's actually the receiver, number 87, Hernandez, as the ball comes out to the Pike 45-yard line. So a nice big gain there on first down for the Red Devils, as that penalty there on the Eagles might turn out to be pretty costly depending on which way this drive goes.
Absolutely, because the punt only went to about the 30-yard line. So there's penalties and mistakes that are really cost you in high school football, and this game has been an absolute evidence of that. As Trewartha stands up the running back right there. Looks like the running back was number 21, Taylor Sanders. Very good job by Trewartha to get through there and make a big tackle.
Yeah, Taylor Sanders got the handoff and was stood up right at the line of scrimmage. So Pike having a little less success running the ball up the middle on Zionsville. They've seen most of their success when they can get to the outside and turn the corner. Lyles pressured, and Trewartha with the sack there. So stands him up at the line of scrimmage for a play of no gain for Pike, and then Trewartha comes right back and gets a sack there. That's going to be a 5-yard loss, and it'll be 3rd and very long here for the Red Devils.
And this is another huge third down for Zionsville, in my opinion, because they're holding on to a 17-10 lead, and it seems like the momentum has kind of gone towards Pike's way a little bit. And if they can force a punt here, they can hopefully get a good possession and drive down as the clock or as the.
No, Brent Lyles is just looking to the sideline, and well, they're gonna let them reset the play clock. I'm not sure for what reason. They just reset the play clock. So another shotgun snap quickly here, and the ball is thrown deep and caught by Dominique Booth. The referee gets in the way of Jackson Schaefer. Okay, so to try to encapsulate what just happened, play clock was running down. They reset it. A lot of Zionsville's defense was standing stagnant, and before you knew it, they hiked the ball and were throwing it downfield. Still should have been a play made there, but Jackson Schaefer gave up the catch and then was cut off as he was trying to pursue the ball carrier.
Yeah, that just doesn't
Nonetheless,
really make sense.
a nice catch by Dominique Booth and a big gain for the Red Devils. This time the handoff is to Sanders. He's tripped up, and a nice play, whoever that was on the ground, because Sanders could have easily run that in.
Certainly got tripped up a little bit, but nevertheless, Pike is really continues to kind of have that lucky streak going on the second half, as they did not have in the first, and they could score here and make this a tied ball game right now.
And to put it into perspective a little bit, a couple minutes ago they were standing in their own end zone to punt it away. So how quickly the tides can turn. And this carry for Sanders, he's going to be down at the 1 yard line of Zionsville. 33 seconds remain in the third quarter. Zionsville just barely hanging on to their touchdown lead. It's 17-10 with the Red Devils threatening.
And they're going to say it's about third and inches. And this could be a big stop for Zionsville. I would expect at this point, being down a touchdown, even though it's still the third quarter, I would say Pike would probably go for it on fourth down if this measurement doesn't go through for them.
They're going to go ahead and measure this. And we'll see. They're going to say it's short, not by much. Oh, yeah, short by about a half a foot. So
and with this Pike offensive line being as big as they are and as strong as they are, it'll be interesting what kind of play call. It looks like they are bringing their utility fullback in, number 49. He's been lining up as a fullback, power back. They don't really give the ball to him, but they like to run up the middle behind him. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's Nick McGrath. I'm surprised you don't see them put Kenny in their jumbo package. Put the big defensive end in there. And it's a sneak, and that's Brent Lyles for a touchdown. So barring the extra point, Pike will tie this ball game late in the third quarter.
And for you listeners at home, that is 17 unanswered points for Pike going into the first half. They were down 17-0, kicked a field goal, kind of became halftime. And since then, the second half has just been a lot of turnovers from Zionsville and opportunities for Pike. So 17-17 ball game going to the fourth quarter. We're in for a treat here.
The extra point is up, and it's good. So this ball game is tied 17-17, and I imagine we're going to have another play or two, and that's going to wrap up the third quarter, and we're going to be in for a very interesting fourth quarter, Alex. Zionsville, as that's what I was kind of mentioning before. You got to keep your foot on the gas, and you got to build on your lead. And we've seen Zionsville too many times this year build a lead and then sort of just methodically, slowly kind of cough it up in the second half, and then have to hang on at the end. And we saw it almost come back to bite them last week, and their season almost ended.
Absolutely, and Zionsville is a team where if you play mistake-free football, you can beat anyone in the state. And if you have mistakes, then you're going to probably lose to any team in the state. It's a very slippery slope. It goes one way or the other. And at the first half, it's very mistake-free football, smart football. Zionsville took care of the football and was able to score off of Pike's turnovers. And now in the second half, it's just the exact opposite. And nevertheless, 17-7, and we're in for a good football game here.
Yeah, total, we've seen 7 or 8 turnovers so far tonight. There were 6 in the first half. And Hernandez, the receiver, is going to kick it off. Zionsville has had some chances at some really good returns tonight, but haven't really been able to break it out. I'd like to see Glenn or Colton Smith maybe be a little more patient on this kickoff return and let some of the Zionsville up guys engage their blocks a little bit. Let this go out of bounds.
Absolutely,
right.
That's a big mistake right there from Pike's kicker to kick that ball out of bounds. And going back to what you were saying, I don't really think Zionsville. I don't think the return men really have that breakaway speed. Especially against this Pike team, who I would honestly say is a lot faster than Zionsville and more athletic.
I think it's the fastest team Zionsville's played, and fastest team they may play moving forward.
Absolutely, yeah. And as a score update, I was just notified that Fishers is beating Hamilton Southeastern 35-0.
Oh, wow.
So that's definitely nothing that I expected.
A lot of unhappy people over there in Hamilton County, as I think most Hamilton Southeastern fans probably saw that sectional should have seen that sectional as a breeze. Hamilton Southeastern had beaten every team in that sectional except Anderson, and that was a walk in the park.
I mean, it seriously takes the refs 15 seconds just to set the ball down.
The referees have been very slow in spotting the ball tonight, and we think that could come into play later on in the fourth quarter if you're low on timeouts or you're trying to stop the clock. I think it's going to benefit a team that gets the last possession. Under center is Parker Dunshee. The quick handoff on the trap play is to Wisniewski. Wisniewski gets about a 5 or 6 yard gain, and that fumble by Wisniewski, very uncharacteristic. I believe, at least as far back as I can remember, that's the first fumble I think he's had this year.
Absolutely.
That we've covered.
And I honestly think it was just a situation where the safety, when he ran over him, had his helmet right in the exact perfect position to knock that ball out. And sometimes when you have your head lowered and running over people, that ball can easily be knocked out. So
yeah, it's the end of the third quarter now, and we're going to switch ends of the field. The ball will be placed on the south end now. Moving north is Zionsville. The ball is placed at their own 41-yard line, and the score is 17-17. So we've been back and forth so far in these first three quarters, and we're going to, I think, wind up seeing quite an interesting fourth here, and I think it's going to be kind of a treat to watch. You hope in the back of your mind, obviously, we're Zionsville fans, but I think you hope to see a good game at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely makes broadcasting a lot more fun to have evenly matched teams, and I think these teams are very evenly matched and very evenly coached. So it's no surprise that the score is 17-17.
I kind of felt that way coming in the fact that when you ask people about the Zionsville Pike scrimmage before the season, you couldn't really get a wholehearted, yes, this team won or yes, that team won. It was kind of wishy-washy. Some people thought, Zionsville played pretty well, and some people thought it might be tough. So,
and I think a lot of scrimmages at the beginning of the year go that way. Brownsburg didn't look too hot when we saw them in the scrimmage,
not at all.
And they wound up winning the entire sectional. So you just never know how it goes. And one thing I'm yet to see from Zionsville that I am really surprised about, judging based on how big and strong this Pike team is we haven't seen Scott Panola get in there and run the ball at all.
No, we haven't. As Zionsville loses a yard on a carry to Cole Wendt, and I haven't seen as much play action as I thought I would see, because we haven't seen a whole lot of deep shots taken. We saw one earlier, and it was dropped by John Nomchef, but it would have been a miraculous catch for him to come up with, and then the underthrown ball in the end zone. This time, a quick pass to Nomchef, and he breaks a tackle and gets a first down, but there's a flag thrown in the backfield from the judge.
Illegal motion, it seems, but we'll see.
We'll see what the penalty flag is for once the referees have a minute. They're pointing Zionsville's way, and the Pike defenders are clapping. So this is going to be against the Eagles.
And that's a big penalty because now instead of having a first down, it's 3rd and 10. So Zionsville continues to hurt themselves with penalties and turnovers. And, 3rd and 10 is not what you want to have when you're Zionsville.
And we're still waiting for the referees to blow the whistle and the play clock to start. And now it starts. So Zionsville going to run this 3rd down play as we get that all sorted out. Zionsville's at their own 35-yard line. The drop from Dunshee throws deep to Nomchef, tries to go up for it, and Nomchef can't make a play. Good defense there by Robert Williams, who had the interception in the end zone earlier. He's done a pretty nice job on John Nomchef so far tonight.
He sure has, and a lot of times you see the receiver going long, and all that cornerback's doing is just bailing out and playing a man coverage with a lot of cushion, and they're just not seeing that. I think Nomchef could have stopped after 10 yards and for an easy catch and first down, but instead they're just trying to go long and hope Nomchef can go up and get it.
Zionsville needs a good punt here from Parker Dunshee. A nice snap, and it's a high kick and takes a pretty decent bounce, and it'll roll dead. So Pike will start at their own 34-yard line, and Zionsville's defense needs to come up with something here. Connor Dahl, I should mention, is back out there, so Dahl's going to play through his injury in the interior defensive line. A minute into the fourth quarter, game still 17-17. We'll try to get some relevant scores to our listeners out there soon. Try to get updated on that Avon Terre Haute North score as soon as we can. 5 wide receivers this time for Pike. And the running back will take the handoff, and he's stuffed. That's Taylor Sanders came in motion and took the handoff, and he gets nothing. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and if you're Zionsville's team, you know that Pike has gone on a 17-0 run to tie this ball game up, and it's the fourth quarter. But you really got to sit your kids down, calm them down, and tell them it's an even slate, 0-0 ball game. Let's play to win the rest of this quarter.
Blitz shown by Zionsville. Carter Spear, he comes on the blitz as they try, and a nice job by Spear to make him turn it upfield. Spear spilled it, or it was spilled by the defensive end, and then Carter Spear made him turn it upfield. But there was no one there to stop him, so it was actually a pretty decent gain on the play for Pike. About 6 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 4.
Yeah, very nice job right there. Number one, I forget his name, Dominique Booth has done a really good job tonight in a lot of his catches and runs, and especially on that jet sweep right there. He's a very patient runner and has good vision.
I think you were referring to the 1984 dunk contest there.
Seems like it.
And a big play there. That is Dominique Booth right there. And good for about a 12 or 13-yard gain and a first down into Zionsville territory.
And it kind of seems like, as it was the first half with Pike, Zionsville's defense is kind of getting tired here. They've been on the field a lot this half is the offense for Zionsville just hasn't really been able to move the ball very well. And Pike's driving right now and can take the lead right here.
And the handoff, it's a keeper for Lyles. He's got plenty of room, and he's gone.
That is a touchdown for Pike. That is about a 50-yard run, 45-yard run for Lyle right there. Good job pulling that ball in that option. He basically just had a good burst to get to the end zone.
47-yard touchdown run for the quarterback, Brent Lyles. And the Pike Red Devils have stormed back to take the lead here at Zionsville, 23-7, pending the extra point. It'll be 24-17, I'm sorry. And, Alex, it's going to be kind of go time here for the Eagles as their offense has really stalled coming out of the gates here in the second half.
Absolutely, and a very unfortunate start to the second half as Zionsville just hasn't been able to do anything, and Pike stuck in there and gotten some points off turnovers.
Extra point is good, 24-17 Pike. Zionsville needs to rally up. As you mentioned, their sideline's kind of dead right now, and you know this could be the last game for a lot of these seniors, and I don't think we're going to see Parker Dunshee and John Nomchef go down without a fight, so I expect to see a quick answer here by the Zionsville offense, honestly.
Absolutely, and you know it's pretty fortunate that Pike had all those turnovers in the first half because this could easily be a blowout the way they're able to move the football and throw the ball. This Brent Lyles kid, he's dangerous. He can throw the ball, he can run. And
we talked before about containing the big play. And up until that point, Zionsville has given up chunks of yardage at times, but in general, they've contained the big play. And that was just a simple case of letting him get loose.
Absolutely, and he obviously has the speed to make that big play happen. And you know, Zionsville is okay. They just got to get down here and get some points on the board, even if it's just a field goal. Got to get back in this game, get some points on the board in the second half because they've done absolutely nothing. They've been in Pike's territory almost every single time they've had the football, and they've just turned the ball over.
Yeah, and you got to get fired up down there. No reason to hang your head yet. You still got a lot of time to play. Ball is kicked into the end zone, so it'll be a touchback this time. And Zionsville's offense will start out at their own 20-yard line, so 80 yards in front of Parker Dunshee. And that's what separates Zionsville from tying this ball game. And we're going to see, I know Nomchef is in the game, and I believe Zionsville is going to work out of the I formation to start this series as they line up quick and probably had a chance to snap it there and catch Pike off guard. The pitch is going to go to Cole Wendt. He cuts back, and it looked like he had a lot of room, but decided to cut that one back and only gets about a yard on the play, maybe 2.
And you kind of see Scott Pinole on the sideline standing there as if he's ready to go into this game as a running back because he's been able to get out there as a running back and just be that senior leader that it seems like Zionsville has every year who plays both ways and is really strong on defense but can also get in there and run the ball.
Yeah, single back this time with Cole Wint. Avery Boxell is checked in the game at the slot. Play action pass, a boot, and Parker throws deep for Nomchef, and he's got it. And a big play there, and that's the big play we were looking for. Is a lot of woofing going on as John Nomchef gets up and has some words for number 7, Robert Williams. And I saw on that last series, well, and then nice defensive play by Robert Williams. He had some words for John, so I think those two have been going back and forth all night.
Yeah, and a lot of compliments to Robert Williams because he's done a very good job on Nomchef and not allow that big play in, but right there, kind of got beat right there and was able to do it.
Nomchef is in the slot now. Avery Boxell split out wide down here to the bottom of your screen. The handoff is to Cole Wint, and he's stacked up for he probably just got back to the original line of scrimmage. Zionsville's running game has slowed down tremendously here in the second half.
Absolutely, and credit Pike's front line for really crashing hard. A lot of Zionsville's run plays are slow developing. I think it's a team like Pike who's as fast and strong as they are. You can't really have those slow developing plays because they're going to be right there and sliding towards the ball every time.
Shotgun here with Cole Wint lined up behind Parker Dunchey. And it's a low snap. Parker handles it nicely, looking for room to run, and is going to be brought down in the backfield. That'll be a sack and about a 3-yard loss. Going to be 3rd and long for the Eagles. If Zionsville gets 7 or 8 yards on this play, I imagine we'll just see them go for it.
And Parker Dunchey's down holding his knee.
Oh, yeah. He's holding his shin right now. I don't know what that's going to be. And that could be a devastating loss for Zionsville if he can't walk this off and return to the game.
And I believe the backup for Zionsville is Joshua Hinkle. He's came in and thrown a couple balls this year, but certainly hasn't had the kind of experience throughout the season that you'd want your quarterback to have coming into sectionals. We hope for the best for Parker Dunchey here as everyone's taking a knee. And for those of you who are tuning in, the score is 24-17 in favor of Pike with 7:58 left to go in this fourth quarter. Zionsville went up early 17-0, and since then Pike has gone on a 24-0 point run here. And props to Pike for having a good second half and has really capitalized on a lot of Zionsville's mistakes and turnovers.
And we're kind of still waiting up here to see what's going on as one of the trainers sprints back to the Zionsville sideline. We'll see what she's going after here. Yeah, they might be going for the card. I think they are.
And this stadium is very, very quiet.
No, she's grabbing something to put around his leg, maybe. So it doesn't look good at this point.
It sure doesn't. Big loss for Zionsville. Parker Dunchey, as you said, can't come back into this game.
We'll see what they wind up doing here. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to take a break here for a couple minutes in the action, and we'll come back once we have a little more on Parker Dunchey. Nothing really to bring to you quite yet. So 7:58 remaining in the game. Zionsville trails 24-17. All right, well, they brought the card out here, and Parker Dunshee, and that's a very nice move there by the defensive end for Pike Kinney, and also I believe their defensive tackle that was in on the play going over there and have some words of encouragement for Parker as the Gators come out, and they're going to cart him off the field, and I imagine, at least from the way it seems from here, it seems to be a pretty serious leg injury.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like Dunshee's really struck with emotion as he's going off the field, not able to walk, seeing his team out there on a 3rd and long, down the touchdown. So
Joshua Hinkle is the backup quarterback as Zionsville is going to have to really kind of shift gears quickly and get back into this game mentally. And the quarterback, Hinkle, under center. And it's an option play. He keeps it and gets forward for about a 6-yard gain, which will bring up 3rd and 7. And I imagine we'll see the Eagles go for it here. Or that'll be 4th and 7, rather.
And that was very fortunate because it looks like Wisniewski was leaning forward, almost fell forward. Should have been a false start right there or illegal procedure. But nevertheless, we've got 4th and 7 for Zionsville on a big 4th down right here. And I agree with you. In this point, you have a huge playmaker in John Nomchef on the outside as they run trips, and see what happens. Throw it up.
And it's a quick pass, and it's almost picked off. And luckily, Avery Boxall held on to that. That was a poorly thrown ball as it was delivered very high when it was supposed to be a quick hitter to the outside. Zionsville's going to turn the ball over on downs.
And guess who was in on that play? It was number 7, Robert Williams, who's been pretty much keying on Nomchef all night. He kind of follows him around the field and has really gotten the best of Zionsville's offense as he's had an interception in the end zone, and right there, almost another pick right there that honestly could have gone for 6 if he would have stayed on his feet and made that interception.
And the play clock is ticking as Pike's offense is just now trotting onto the field. They're going to take over from their own 40-yard line, and now more than ever, Zionsville's defense is going to be called upon. They're going to need a very big play from the defense here. Motion man, and it's a run. And a nice defensive play up front, especially by the big guys, the defensive line up front, as that run was given to Sanders.
And it looks like Joshua Trortha was there to make the stop. He's had some nice plays tonight. He's a big kid, 6'1", 221. And, Zionsville's really got to buckle down here. It's only a 1-possession game, and I don't think they can really stand to go down by 2 touchdowns or at least 2 possessions.
2nd and long. Lyles hands it off again, and it's stuffed up the middle. Actually, he spun out of a tackle and wound up getting about 4 yards on the play, so it'll be 3rd and 6 now for the Red Devils.
And this is a very big 3rd down. I'd actually venture to say that this is pretty much do or die right here for Zionsville. You got to have a stop.
A quick pass as Tyler Glenn tries to make a play and just can't get off his man in time. 1st down around the outside towards the top of your screen as the ball is ran out of bounds on the Pike sideline into Zionsville territory.
And that was number 1 again. Dominique Booth has had a great night catching the football. Has pretty much been the go-to guy for Brent Lyles. And, Pike can really take a lot of this clock away and get down there and score a touchdown to pretty much solidify this game for them.
First down, Pike. 4 wide receivers, 3 to the bottom of your screen. A quick pass will be made to Booth, and Booth spins out of a tackle, puts his hand down nicely, and winds up getting a 1st down, I believe, on that play. So,
solid effort.
Yeah, very solid effort there by Dominique Booth, and kind of a dangerous time here for the Zionsville team.
And you have to think at this point, this Pike team, if they can impose their will on the defense, being able to throw and run the ball, they can pretty much beat any team in the state, I would say. Very solid team right here.
Shotgun snap is thrown deep, and Schaefer grossly underestimated the strength behind that football, and that could have easily been complete for a touchdown. Schaefer put his hand up at the last second and I think realized he had he had underestimated how long that ball was thrown.
Absolutely, and right there is a great example of Brent Lyle's arm strength. This kid's only a junior, folks, and I'm expecting him to do a lot of good things moving forward if they can pull out this victory and even into next year as a senior.
Shotgun snap now to Lyles. He keeps it, thinks about pitching it and doesn't. Trewartha is in on the tackle, and so is Scott Panola, so a 2-yard gain, and it'll be 3rd and long again for Pike. I imagine if Pike doesn't get this, they'll probably go for it and try to extend this, or you think they'll... I wouldn't imagine, if I were Pike, I wouldn't want to punt at all with the way those snaps have been all night.
Yeah, I agree with you, but at the same time, Parker Dunshee is not in this game anymore, so...
Just pin them deep.
Yeah, play possession football against this team. Or field position, I'm sorry.
And still awaiting the snap as the play clock ticks down, and Lyles has to run. He's going to be taken down behind line of scrimmage. And number 44 was in on the play, but that's not Wisniewski. Do we have 2 44s listed, Alex?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
We don't have them listed, so Steven Wisniewski...
Or was that 45 Jimmy Morrison?
No, that was 44. I'm sure of that.
And it looks like Pike is
Either way.
They're either going to take a timeout here.
They're going to let the play clock run down, and then they're going to probably take a timeout or accept the 5-yard penalty and give themselves some more breathing room to punt it away.
Yeah, perhaps that might happen. We'll see what they do here. Nevertheless, a good job by Zionsville to force that 4th down to happen and give them some life here without them getting points on the board. But, we'll see what Pike's going to choose to do here. You're right, 44 is in the game, Wisniewski.
They took the penalty, so if I'm Zionsville here, knowing that your quarterback's out and how close you've gotten to block punts throughout this game, I mean, we've seen some really poor snaps, and I think you got to go after this one.
I actually agree with you, partner. I mean, it's at this point, you just don't know what's going to happen. And
it's a low snap and some pressure, but they can't get to him. Nomchef's going to have to try to make a play here as he finds some room.
There was a little bit of a wall, but he looks like he slipped down.
A decent return out past the 25. So Zionsville, with their season in the balance, is going to have to go 75 yards to try and tie this game.
And it all lies on the shoulder of the backup quarterback in Joshua Hinkle.
I think if you do punch it in, you just go for 2 now and go for the win, because you don't, with your quarterback out, you don't want to have to keep matching him in overtime.
Especially against this other quarterback in Brent Lyles, who's probably one of the better quarterbacks in the state as far as athleticism and arm strength.
You just take your chance from the 2-yard line on the conversion. And the handoff to Wisniewski, looking for running room, only gets a couple yards. Zionsville still has all 3 of their timeouts.
And Zionsville's got to know they have plenty of time here with a little bit under 4 minutes. Zionsville can easily get a normal Zionsville drive to come down this field and score. It's not really in need of sense of urgency. You're only down a touchdown, and they can keep running the ball. Don't abandon what you do best.
Trying to keep an eye down here on what they're having Parker do in the back of that cart. I formation, a quick drop, and a flag is thrown. And we'll see what the call is. I imagine it'll be on Zionsville.
I think Nomchef kind of wiggled a little bit and didn't stay straight. And there was a false start. I'm not sure. They don't say who it is in high school football. These refs don't. But
well, you're not helping out your new quarterback if you're getting false start penalties. That's only putting him in a tougher situation.
Absolutely. And I think right there, as they've been doing all night with those bubble screens, he pumped it. And I think there was going to be a pretty big play right there with Avery Boxall.
They're walking crutches over now to Parker Dunshee here on the sideline. And it's going to be a sprint out. And he's got Nomchef, but way overthrows him. He actually had Avery Boxall in the middle of the field, and it's going to be an uphill battle here with this new quarterback. And
it's a lot of yelling going on by these fans here at Zionsville. These refs continue to.
You can hear the coaches upstairs.
I think they were tapping down as the clock kept rolling after an incomplete pass, and that's what they did. They reset the time to 3:05. So the coaches upstairs above the press box are really trying to indicate to the people in here to stop the play clock, but nevertheless, it's 3:05 and it's 3rd and 12 for this young Zionsville quarterback.
All right, so a little bit of drama here to end this game. Going to need a big play, Zionsville is. He throws it up to Namchef, who makes the catch. And he just threw it up in the air and trusted Namchef to go make a play. And I have a feeling that's what's going to happen the rest of this drive.
You don't have a choice with this young quarterback. Just throw to your big playmaker. I think he can certainly beat this cornerback in Robert Williams, who's had the best of him tonight. He's only 5'10", 165 pounds versus Namchef 6'4". So
it's going to have to be. There's going to have to be some big plays made here by Zionsville. They may just run the ball here and see if they can catch him off guard for a few yards. Oh, they do, and there's an open area. I love Cole Went, the way he runs hard and the way he puts his head down and protects the football. There's always a few times where you can just see that crease. He gets as many yards as he can, but there's a lot of yards I think he leaves on the field at times.
He certainly does, but at the same time, as we've alluded to all year, he's a possession running back. He takes care of the football, and he gets you positive yards pretty much every time he touches the football, as he's averaged about 6 yards a carry. So,
and 2nd and 8 now for Zionsville. Quick drop. The throw is to Chris Mason and caught. Zionsville across the 50-yard line, showing a lot of determination here without their starting quarterback and really their leader.
And that was a good throw right there. It was a little bit behind Chris Mason, but a good adjustment to reach back and catch that football. And, Zionsville's continuing to have some life. If they can really get down here and score, it could be great for the psyche of this young quarterback going into next year.
And the handoff now to Wint. He's got some room. Go, Cole! As he rumbles forward inside the 30-yard line.
Zionsville's back.
And that's the run I was looking for out of him.
Just got a score update for those of you who are listening in. Looks like Lawrence Central beat Warren Central 21-14, so that must have been a good game coming down to the wire as well. As so is this one, as Zionsville picks up a first down, and we are under 2 minutes with the score 24-17, and Zionsville's driving.
And we may see another handoff, yes, to Cole Wint with some room to run. He gets out of bounds. A smart play there. Probably could have got a couple more yards, but did the smart thing and got out of bounds and stopped the clock. Because those timeouts really might come in handy as they're trying to punch it in.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm starting to agree with you more and more. If you do, in fact, score, just go for 2.
While you have the momentum, and while his confidence is up, I bet they'll run it in. I could see them putting in
Big Scotty Panola.
Anyways,
we'll see what they do.
Yeah, it's 2nd and 3 now for the Eagles. Ball's at the 23-yard line of Pike. A quick drop. Pass is complete to John Namchef. Good for about 10 yards. And Zionsville moving the ball. The backup quarterback, Joshua Hinkle, the junior, gaining confidence as this drive continues. And it really all started with that big catch by John Namchef on the sideline.
Absolutely, and I know you want to throw the ball up to Namchef going up top, but these DBs are giving him a lot of respect, and that means they're giving him a lot of cushion. So that's a great job right there to check down to just a quick little hitch right there. And Zionsville looks like they're going to take a timeout.
I think Pike actually took it.
Pike did. Well, this
McCutcheon
is really shaping up.
won 26-10, so they're going to move on to the sectional championship. Wouldn't that be nice to be able to get to the sectional championship, not have to play Brownsburg, Pike, or Ben Davis, or anyone?
Yeah, that would be pretty incredible, but it's just how it works in some of these sectionals. They go by region and area of where you live and where your school is, not necessarily by any kind of seeding.
Well, and Fishers and HSE had to meet in the second round.
Right, exactly.
So I think we might see some change to that, especially this year. It's really turned it on its head, the system, and the way that the regular season doesn't really mean a whole lot for the playoffs. I think this season more than ever kind of proves why that needs to be reevaluated.
Absolutely.
This is only the second week.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. On down the road, you just never know what's going to happen. So, but Zionsville, good job here, and we'll see what they can do.
1st and 10. Ball on the Pike 14-yard line. Cole Wint looking for running room. Doesn't get much.
And if you're
Gets
Zionsville,
about a yard.
If you're Zionsville, you got to start being conscious about the play clock. There's 1:30 left, and the clock is ticking. And
you got all 3 timeouts, but they're going to have to hurry it up a little bit here.
And the crowd's starting to really get into this game, as it's really turned out to be a great sectional matchup between Pike and Zionsville.
Chris Mason down at the bottom of your screen, single covered. Big 6'4" receiver. And the handoff is going to be to Cole Went. And he looks for running room and doesn't get much. You might see a timeout called now. And yeah, Zionsville will take their first timeout with 58 seconds remaining in the game. They trail Pike by a touchdown, but the ball is now on the Pike. Let's see, where's the ball placed? Is that inside the 10-yard line?
Looks like it's right outside of the 10-yard line. So Zionsville's going to have a 3rd and 6 here, and obviously it's 4-down territory with only 58 seconds left. Once again, Pike is leading 24-17 over Zionsville. And as a little bit of a recap of how this game has gone, Zionsville, amidst Pike's turnovers, scored 17 early points in this game, and since then Pike's really turned it on to open up a 24-0 run to go up 24-17. But Zionsville's fighting back here. As another side note, Parker Dunshee went out with what it looked like a knee injury, as he's at the end zone, at the baseline, watching, hoping, praying for this junior quarterback to come in and sneak out, at least tie the ball game here.
I'll be interested to see what the injury report is, or if he'll need an MRI.
I think that they'll certainly go for an MRI, just based on how they brought a card out in a knee brace, so we'll see.
Is it a knee brace?
I think so.
Okay, I can't see it
from here. It's an
here.
immobilizer, I think.
All right, 3rd down. Can still get a first down. Pike jumps off sides. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. And that was the big defensive end, number 9, David Kinney. And that's a huge play right there, as that turns a 3rd and 6 into a 3rd and 1.
Opens up your playbook a little bit for sure.
Well, I think you run the ball and get the first down and just completely avoid the whole 4th down situation altogether.
Absolutely, yeah.
Scott Panola comes in the ball game on a short yardage situation.
Yep, here we go.
He thought it might be a good ending, and we're getting one.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a bad ending in the long run because you had a player get hurt, and you got to think the way they were moving the ball. I just couldn't bet against Parker Dunshee in that situation not to put it in the end zone. So Zionsville dealt a huge blow here, but Third and 1 now for the Eagles. We're still waiting for this play. The timeouts have been elongated, and the play clock has been elongated all game, as it's already approaching 10 o'clock. Game started promptly at 7. And the handoff to Panola.
And he scores
a touchdown. And here's the big opportunity. This is where...
What do you do if you're Zionsville? Especially
Okay.
Parker Dunshee, who usually does the kicks here. You know, what
Well, Jack Ryder has been kicking extra points so far this game. I think you just got to go for 2 here.
They're going to call a timeout, which is wise here, and think about it. But I agree with you, partner. This is, with your starting quarterback, your best player out of the game.
I think you hand the ball off to Panola, and they know you're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, so far, in this season, when he gets the ball.
Zionsville wins this game with their best player going out. I think it could be something for them to rally around moving forward.
Absolutely.
Hinkle's going to have to have the best week of practice, be the best weeks of practice of his life moving forward. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I'm going to be very interested to see how they decide this.
Yeah, absolutely. This is high
try
school
to win the
football at
game
its
while
finest.
you can, because I think in overtime, although the defense has played well in certain situations.
I mean, I don't think I've ever called a game where it was in overtime, though, in high school football, and they start at the 10-yard line.
They do.
So it's exciting. I mean, it's a very exciting way to do
I
overtime,
think they're
but
leaving the offense out there.
seems like it, doesn't it?
Panola's still in the huddle. Oh, yeah.
And they are, in fact, going
Here
to go
we
for
go.
it.
Okay, 2-point conversion to win the game here for the Eagles.
Man, I say you run a trap play with Wisniewski and just catch him off guard.
Oh, well,
here.
they're going to be, okay, the lone receiver is double-teamed, John Nomchef. And right there, I think Zionsville wanted to come out and see how Pike lined up. They put 2 guys on Nomchev, and then everyone else. Oh boy!
I swear though,
You got to think they're going to respect the pass, and they're not going to. With Parker Dungy, you have to worry about him taking off, and I'm not sure. We haven't really seen yet if Hinkle can really move that well out of the pocket.
But this is the most opportune time for a naked boot. Just fake the handoff to Panola and roll around the left side.
If you've seen him run, I have no idea.
Well, we saw him run a quick veer at the very beginning when he came in. He was able to get a positive 6 yards. So.
With that David Kinney, the defensive end there,
yeah.
I would not test that towards him anyways.
Yeah, but you got to expect, this Pike line is going to crash so hard for Scott Panola. I mean, it's interesting to see. We'll see what happens here. I mean, this is pretty much for the whole game. Actually, is for the whole game.
I can't imagine as a running back, Scott Panola, your senior year, this quite possibly could be your last game, and it's going to be about you getting 2 yards.
Absolutely. They always talk about how football is a game of inches, and this is the exact situation.
Well, this is pressure. I'm going to stand up here in the press box so I can get a better view as all the fans have taken to their feet here. The handoff to Panola.
And he is stuffed.
He is stuffed, yes. He tried to dive over the pile and is stuffed.
Now, one of the running backs is saying that they fumbled it and he picked it up and went in.
Okay, so we're going to see an onside kick try now for Zionsville.
I don't understand why he jumped. He's such a big kid. Just put your head down and keep going and dig in. Don't jump over the pile. Nevertheless, heck of a football game by Pike. They were down 17-0. Were able to really fight back and take care of the football in the second half and scored 24 unanswered points to give them this lead here. And it looks like, unfortunately for Zionsville, if they don't get this onside kick, that's going to be all she wrote for this year. It's been a very good year as they went 8-2 in the regular, 7-2 in the regular season, and then beat the number 1 Brownsburg out of their conference last week and came here and just it's very, very evenly matched football teams. And
I think the right call was to go for it there. Even though he didn't get it, I think the right call was to not extend the game in that situation with your backup quarterback who has very little experience. I think, you had him where you wanted him, and you had a chance from 2 yards out to win the game, and
I think it was there. I really think that if he puts his head down and just digs his feet, he's going to probably push himself into the end zone. He's that big of a kid. He's 6'3", 250 pounds. I mean,
we'll see how this onside goes. And another timeout's going to be called by Pike as this has become the game that never ends. We'll take a break here for a second while this timeout gets underway. And the onside kick is up, and it takes a couple bounces.
And Pike got it, though.
And Pike does get it. Wow. That was a speedy onside kick as it took multiple bounces. And Pike is just going to take a couple knees, and the game will end. And I think we can go ahead and wrap up our broadcast, and that'll be the end of our broadcast for the year. As Pike survives here at Zionsville after a couple misfortunate plays and incidents here for the Eagles. We'll hope Parker Dungy's okay and send our best wishes out to his family. And we'll go ahead after this snap and end the broadcast as Zionsville will finish the season 8-3, I believe, as they lost.
They lost to Hamilton Southeastern and they lost to Brownsburg. I think they had 2 losses and they're losing to Pike, so they will finish 8-3.
8-3. Seacrest.
So it's been a great year. Very nice being able to broadcast for Zionsville as this is our alma mater.
Yep.
As the play clock starts to wind, they're going to have to take one more knee, but this should be the game as we will wrap up the season here.
And thanks for tuning in this year. We'll be sure to be back next year And the last play is about to be made. Pike's going to win 24-23, and they're going to take on next week the winner of Avon Terre Haute North for the Sectional 6 Championship. For Aaron and Alex, we're out of here. This is AudioSportsOnline.com.
Good night.